was
I am
beautiful.
jealous.
Truly
though.
I
beautiful.
told them to hit me
Why
up,
does
slide
Jackie-
into DMs, call me. They give stuff to Jackie.
Why does
That's
Jackie
crazy.
get them?
Right.
That's crazy. I will say that was the most wholesome thing I've seen like
It was
today.
so-
For
Probably,
sure.
that's probably why.
I hope we win. It should be us.
Yeah.
That was very nice.
Very
Good
nice of them.
sportsmanship.
It seems to be that's the way it goes. We just did PAX a couple weeks ago, and I was asking for some banter in the 1v1s that we were doing. They're like, yeah, good luck. And I'm like, that's your banter to the guy on the other side. Okay.
That's what we old esports folks call good manner. That's good manner over
Give me
there.
the trash talk.
Yeah, so we are getting into Valorant. As you said,
Oh, yeah.
we have those two teams down there. We have Texas A&M and Northwood. Northwood we have seen before in a different game. Northwood here is the #1 seed again. And Texas A&M coming in at #5 seed. I heard you intake breath. You have something to say, Blue.
No, it's just this is going to be a good match.
He's
Yeah.
breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
He's preparing
Breathing
himself
is
mentally.
important at this point in the
There's
night.
legitimately like there's like 4 teams that could have been the #1 seed. Production
When production pipes in your ear and goes, Blue, that's all you have to say, that says something about the John Madden of
I'm
esports,
still
right?
pretty upset that they got me eating a burrito like a wrap.
He's just, that's how you do it.
I was
Production's got
eating
you put you on blast.
That's how
They
you
put
tell
some distraught. Oh, I love it.
I see my
man.
own. I mean, I looked good, even if I wasn't paying attention.
You were giving like the Ghost Rider like penance stare.
I was looking
like,
straight at
in
the
camera.
Overwatch. I was watching Harrisburg bring my prediction to the front row. That's what I was doing while enjoying a vegetable wrap.
A veggie wrap.
Yeah,
as we
veggie
do.
wrap. I was
Yes.
going to say vegetable and
Vegetarians to
veggie,
wraps.
and I couldn't decide which one I was
Okay,
going to go with.
focus on esports.
Yes.
Yeah, I was about to
All
say,
right,
it's,
y'all.
it's definitely been a long day, can you tell?
I thought Northwood was the #2 seed coming in. I was wrong, I guess. San Jose State was pretty good. I mean, both of them are #1 seed worthy. Texas A&M is #1 seed worthy. I think Northwood got done a little dirty in group stages because they actually got put in the same group as Hawaii, and that's like one of their biggest rivals, and they're always like, oh, we got to play on 200 ping, blah, 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 blah. Now Hawaii's here, and they get to prove that they're still better on no ping, which they did because in the group with Northwood, they went 3-0, and they beat Northwood, as Northwood's only lost. They went 2-1. Only 2 teams come out of those groups of 4. And I'm pretty sure it was a 13-15, which means it was overtime. And you got to win by 2. You know, it's a little backyard basketball rules out here in Valorant. But yeah, Northwood's pretty dangerous. The thing with Texas A&M though is that they've been around for a long time in the Valorant collegiate scene. It's just that they've had one of the bumpiest roads, and I think it's mostly because they were just the most aggressive team. They did not care about anything but just holding W key, and it was all mainly because of their jet player at the time, Aggro, who was in the enemy's backline more than he was in his own team's backline. So things did not go well. It was either he was smoking fools or they were getting smoked because he was back there, you know, just walking around the spawn, taking a look, like, did they drop any guns for me? No.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing between these two teams, as you mentioned, Texas A&M is like long-term veterans. Northwood's the opposite side, newest team in the top 5. Team's always kind of been at the top, despite only being together for like, I think it's like 2.5 semesters or something like that. So you're kind of getting like the old gun versus like the old guard, new guard kind of situation. But Northwood, like we talked about that at the very beginning of the today, which feels like forever ago.
It was weeks.
They are a program that builds excellence, and their Valorant team is no joke. Like, they are yet another. But I like the way you said it. Like, we talk about how seeding and stuff like that is kind of arbitrary at this point. Anybody in the top 5 can take it. It
Yeah.
is super close in Valorant.
I mean, there wasn't like an actual tournament for seeding. It was more so you got all. It's kind of like this is May Madness, right? The collegiate madness. And just like in March Madness, the teams that win their regions or their divisions or their conferences, they get bids, and that's what happened here. And then you have those last chance qualifiers. So the seeding is all arbitrary. It's like, who do you think is the #1? It's like we put together an AP poll, and they just they get to pick. We think this team's #1 because of strength of schedule.
Fawn, what do you hope to see in this match?
Well, Valorant's like literally one of my favorite games out there right now.
Yeah?
So like I'm like excited to see literally anything that's about to go on in this match. I do think it's very interesting though, because I feel like Valorant is such a stark contrast, especially for everybody out there in the audience watching. It's such a stark contrast to what we've already seen, which is Overwatch, which is Smash. It's very slow. people will take their time in Valorant because it's not a sort of hit W key sort of game. It's really like sort of paced and very methodical. Everyone has their own pacing, but Smash and Overwatch are definitely way more faster paced than Valorant is. It's one tap to the head and you're done. And so that forces people to play a lot more cautiously because the time to kill is so high. It's very easy to kill someone in Valorant.
Yeah.
See, if you guys don't know the genre tactical shooter,
Yes.
it is very much so that. It is. There's a lot of depth to it, and it's really accessible because not everybody has the point aim click ability, so they provide these abilities in the game that allow you to, like, instead of having to, like in Counter-Strike, learn different types of economics and buying these certain items and stuff. It's like, okay, you have abilities, and that is your utility to flash or bang something, or comeback mechanics like revives. There's a lot of really cool things that make it more accessible to the general public, which is why it is so popular. Plus, you got Captain Rito up at the top, supporting it like crazy. So it was a game that I was super into at the very beginning, and then we did some casting with like Team Liquid, and I really fell in love with it because I got to see the knowledge of the developer team play against the best Counter-Strike team in the world in Team Liquid at the time. And you saw developers smack people like Stewie 2K.
Wow.
And I'm like, what is happening? It's just from the game knowledge, and now you're seeing like crazy Nova arrows that like bounce off like 20 walls, and it's like, we have vision of your entire team. We know exactly what you're doing. And it's like that type of stuff and that type of depth has evolved so much over the small time Valorant's been around. And like as a fan just getting to watch and like take that in, I'm super biased towards version 1. I love their like Iceland run and stuff, and that made me fall in love. Like NA's Last Hope kind of run was oh gosh.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am just as speechless as you are about that. I think it's absolutely amazing. And then you also have to remember that as of recently, there's the inclusion of a new agent as well, which is Fade. And Fade is a very, very intel heavy, very potentially aggressive character.
They hit the fades on some people.
Really crazy. So I'm interested to see if any teams sort of draft that. I'd heard about it a little bit, but I'm let the casters talk about that, about the potential, like potentially no duelists, which is something that's very interesting because typically you have people that you want to rely on for entry frags, but I'm interested to see what they have to say.
Can I boast about our broadcast talent that we brought in?
Absolutely.
Oh, sure, yeah, go for it.
You guys are in for a treat. If you guys do not know Mimi, Evil Cat, you are in for a treat to learn about this game. Like, when you talk about special broadcast talent and the ability to dive into the things that matter most and articulate it in a way that is so digestible, this series is going to be something special.
I can't wait. And,
Take a bow, Mimi.
claps for Mimi.
Deserves it.
Heck
I mean,
yeah.
Tanner's all right.
Speaking of, we're just getting
Love that
into
boy.
Valorant. If people have just tuned in for Valorant, hello, welcome to CECC. And I wanted to remind you that we've got a hefty prize pool. We've got $25,000 on the line here.
Money.
Yeah, money is good. College students love money.
Absolutely.
Hey, tuition ain't cheap.
No, and we have trophies for them waiting in the wings. Beautiful, beautiful trophies that you can see right there. Giant trophies that you could fit lots of fruit punch inside.
Nah, that's drink control all in there.
That's right. I'm sorry. My bad. Yes, control. You can
He
fill
wants
it with
Oakley to
control.
hit him up. I want drink control to hit me. Let's go. I got a shaker cup
I'm not afraid
already.
to sell out here on the desk.
Yeah, give me the drink control. Y'all can have the sunglasses all day.
Only 2 of us left,
I'm cool. I'm
You'll
cool
pick yours
with-
tomorrow. You let me know.
I don't need this, obviously, and I'll take these.
That works.
Yeah.
Well, let's chat a little bit more as our casters are getting ready about what we expect from this match. It sounds to me like we feel really good about Northwood. However, with the seedings being a little bit arbitrary, kind of could go either way. Do you guys have strong feelings?
This is going to be like when we got to see like Smash earlier today with Anarchy and Sonic in the close, and like you're talking Villager getting 140% versus 180% comes down to one hit. I expect the kind of battle in this fight. It's going to be a nail biter, and we're in for a treat.
Look, casters.
Whoa.
Hello.
Hello.
Tanner, just know I love you. It's just
He
I love
definitely
Mimi more.
loves
That's
Tanner
fine.
as well.
I love you too, man.
Okay, all right, sweet. We're good.
Take us away, casters.
Yeah.
ahead,
Well,
kill it.
thanks so much to the folks over on the desk. I feel like Lawler has completely set the standard now, and I
Yeah,
just
you
have to be
are.
a professor at this point.
Yeah.
We're getting in the lecture. The college kids thought they were getting away from that, and now we're hopping back in, and it's all thanks to Adam. So blame him if you have any issue with all that.
Look, she's got the cue card. She's ready.
Yeah.
I told you, man.
She was
I
drinking
told
the
you.
water.
We don't mess
I got a lot to
around.
Listen, that is the John Madden in the booth right there. Respect evil.
Appreciate it. Yeah, this matchup though, Tanner, is going to be incredibly exciting. Northwood is one of those teams that I think in like the last year or so have really grown as a program, have come up to be probably one of the best, if not considered probably the favorite to be able to take this one on home versus a TAMU team who, sure, they've been around for quite a while. They had their moment in glory, but it has been, as of late, maybe a little bit more inconsistency. However, now they're both in the quarterfinals. They've made it this far. We're in LAN. We're in a different environment. There's a chance for anyone here.
Yeah, I think that's what we're really seeing is the LAN environment. It's not often, if you're not familiar with collegiate, that we get these matchups from across the, not the globe, but across the nation, really, east to west and stuff like that. So being able to really get that here and then doing it on one of the largest stage, if not the largest stage that some of these teams have played on, there's a lot of pressure. And when you're looking at what just happened between these two teams, right, both of them 2-1 out of their groups. TAMU getting that first seed just for round differential as a whole. And I'm telling you, when I was watching that matchup against UCF, they looked a little drained. So I'm wondering now that it has been a longer day, how they're feeling coming into this one. Now that they're on the main stage, where the energy at? Yeah,
I think especially on the other side for Northwood, it's really interesting because they've been very dominant in their online performances. They come in here, they play against, like Dennis was talking about, their rival in Hawaii. Now, no longer on the Gigaping. They're here on LAN. Everyone's on equal footing. Hawaii actually beats them, takes home that matchup, so kind of sends them for a bit of a loop. Of course, both those teams still make it on out of the groups and now have a chance to play here in the playoffs. But I suppose that chip on the shoulder for Northwood. They have a lot to prove. Their performance in some of these like online tournaments in the leagues they play has been really stellar, and this is their chance to live up to those expectations.
Yeah, and I think what's cool about these two teams specifically, really all of the teams that made it into the playoffs for the most part, is these are names that you're also seeing around the Valorant scene, just in Tier 2 and the Tier 3s, trying to get their hands on everything, whether it be playing with the squad. I know that we've seen TAMU playing in a lot of these tournaments. We've also seen the individual players kind of dance around. So when you get to this point, I feel like a lot of the times collegiate esports as a whole can kind of be like a mixing pot of, you know, the skill ranges. Are we at the highest level, you know, the medium range level, whatever it may be? Well, now that we're here and this competition is starting to shrink down and get a little bit tighter, this is going to be just as high as you would expect to see anywhere else.
Yeah, it is going to be really high level indeed. I think talking about Northwood in way of their roster, they're one of those squads that has just kind of a plethora of really impressive individual players. They have Dip, who's pretty much consistently playing that jet. They also have Fursa, who's also often on that duelist role, flexing around. This is a team that has a lot of options in the compositions that they can run. They've been one that I believe has been implementing a good bit of the chamber now that he's come into the meta. So you're really kind of rocking with these comps that, well, TAMU, they're known for their aggression. It's compositions that can do that, especially on that attacking side for Northwood. And when you have a really strong supportive line, I think of a player like Tyler being one of the most flexible across collegiate. This guy is just playing practically everything. It puts the team in a place where, depending on the map, you can pull out something new, and in the current meta, it really befits that style of team.
Yeah, I was talking to some of the players earlier, and they were talking about bringing in awkward things and awkward timings that people just aren't ready for, you know? So when you randomly pick the Rays on Ascent versus what might be the Jet or anything of the sort, and to speak to that aggression for Texas A&M, they're rocking the double duelist on some of these maps, which is a little bit older of a composition, but they're trying to play that double dive. They want the Jet to get deep. They want the Rays to get deep and eventually just kind of bounce back.
Yeah, for me, the player I'm looking at on Texas A&M has got to be Aggro. This is a guy that I was watching like a year ago playing in collegiate tournaments, and he was always playing Jet. I think he's still pretty much sticking to that role. And the name holds true. This guy is pushing. This guy is hyper-aggressive. But the thing is, I think TAMU is built into something more. There were a time where they were kind of characterized as just this team that, hey, we're hyper-aggressive. We can hold W. We can out-aim you, but maybe lacking in that strategic depth. I think as of late, they've proved that this team is a lot more than that, and they've built into this character of being a squad that has that strategic depth, that has that backup line, but also still has those players that can get in your face, that can really heavily control the pace of a game.
Yeah, when we were looking at the players for these squads and kind of diving deeper into the teams, and the notes that we had gotten right is that although maybe a little getting a little too far out ahead of themselves or maybe a little too aggro, Noble has been the consistency player for Texas A&M. He's that guy that is obviously going to be consistent in his own right, but be consistent towards that team, be able to reel them back in when they need to, slow them down a little bit, and probably the guy when it comes to timeouts to say, hey guys, let's just take a deep breath, right? In this timeout, we might not be talking about all of the tactics, but we're going to take this 60 seconds to really slow down, kind of shake the nerves, especially now being on that main stage, and then we get to go right back to it and play the game that we know that we can play.
And I think just straight up talking about the fact that it is out on a main stage, you're in front of an audience, you have this noise, you have everything going on. It's a new environment for a lot of these players. The collegiate scene specifically in Valorant has had very few opportunities like this one, and Valorant in general for the community level. I mean, it's a game that came up during COVID. We've had a pretty big lack of those smaller local tournaments to build experience. So unless you're a player who's maybe coming from another game, or you're a player who've had those opportunities at kind of the higher level tier 2 events, you're probably lacking in that regard. So it's kind of about, hey, we've been playing for ages with this team. And I think collegiate teams versus like tier 2 teams actually have an advantage in that, because most of the time they're playing in their facility together. They already got those fist bumps on land. They're already in that environment right now. So they're just switching over, something new. You can still figure it out. You can still perform just to that same level, and here's your chance to prove it.
Yeah, the thing with playing at LAN, though, versus being able to play next to your teammates and just fist bump there is you've got the opponent. If not back in the group stages where you're directly in front of them, you're sitting right across from them. So you're also hearing them. They're getting hype. You're hearing the things that they're saying. Sometimes we do get a little bit of that trash talk sneak on through, and then that right there, I mean, at the end of the day, it's all love. We even heard it in the interview to get started, right?
That was so wholesome.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we should be able to win, and then, you know, well, we should take this one as well. But at the end of the day, you could tell that there's just love all around.
And then in the pit, I just heard players like completely screaming. It's like a completely different character. You're out of game. You're just friendly. You know, we're having a good time. What's up, guys? We're doing well. And then in game, it gets serious. It gets aggressive a little bit sometimes, but all in good faith, all in good fun for these players.
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of the point that I was getting to, is when maybe you get a little ahead of yourself because you got too excited. At the end of the day, you know, fist bumps all around. We are gonna be walking across. Now, as for this, I guess just kind of housekeeping, right? We are in the quarterfinals.
Sure.
And this is a best of 3.
Yeah.
We don't really necessarily have the map pools directly here for us yet. I don't think. I would imagine they might still be going through picks and bans, if not setting up as a whole. But the map that I did catch from Texas A&M, it was split. And if that was where they like to play that double dive.
That's been a mainstay for them. So the thing is, like, way back, like a year and a half ago when I was casting these guys, they were still playing that map. They've been very committed to it. Aggro as a player has been very committed to it. I think they're playing the raised jet in towards that map. TAMU, well, they've kind of evolved into being a more strategically deep team. They still play a lot of, people are going to get mad at me if I say this, but off-meta compositions. I'm generally against double duelists, but I think at this level, if you have the player caliber, it can really work for you, and you can build in towards that style. And especially in the current meta where it's kind of, it's Initiator City right now. Sova, he was always our mainstay here in North America. Now he's kind of falling out a little bit, and people are finding the information that Sova normally brings in other methods. It's the Sky Breach combos. It's those double flash comps that we saw a lot in towards Stage 1 the VCT, in towards Iceland, and I expect that to continue even down towards these kind of collegiate teams versus those teams up at the pro level, because those compositions just work so well, and it gives you options. It gives flexibility for those players that maybe they're a little bit smaller, but they can still be a star. And this one, however, will head to Ascent, and this is always pretty much going to be a mainstay for Sova.
Yeah, this is absolutely a mainstay for Sova, but something that we have to pay attention to is we are on that newest patch. So we do have these jet changes. We do have these Sova changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's talk about that. Aggro Dip, the 2 jet players. We expected it. We got it. I'm really excited for that operator head-to-head. This is a map where mid-control is really pivotal, and it'll be up to those 2 players to claim that space. Noble and Ferbsa as well. I'm looking towards them, the KO, and how you can set your jet up towards success. That's kind of the barometer for a successful team. Sure, your jet player can be great, but if they are not being enabled by that supportive line, by that initiator, you lose so much value.
That is something that I always want to see. Your initiators, although they can do it themselves, they are the support for the squad. They're going to help you steal away that space, take that ground, get aggressive. So I absolutely want to see less of the jet making the solo plays, aggressive push with the op, whatever it may be. But I think more importantly, here we go. We finally get to it. Maybe it's been a long day, but it's the pistol round here between Texas A&M and Northwood University, a best of 3. And the loser, unfortunately, they check out a little early.
Yeah, Texas A&M, a defensive-sided start here, and you can already see this duo trying to coordinate, both Aggro and Noble working together over towards A main. I'm looking at them not necessarily for getting kills in this one, but just that early information, providing space on that map, calling for those early rotates, and as this will look to be a hit over towards B, what's interesting enough from this defensive side of Texas A&M is they want to commit to holding this. Sam has that rendezvous set up to teleport in towards backside, but the KO knife misses him. He has an opportunity here, but just misses out on the shots, and Dip, just claiming a second head.
Oh, man. I mean, of course, this is the guy you get for the interview. This is the guy you get to open up the game. The paranoia was perfect. It lasted just long enough, and Dip doing his due diligence to clear out logs and find the frags.
Yeah, already a retake attempt coming in here still. There's a couple flashes available, and Aggro's still alive. They've claimed space towards front side, but Dip, he just still wants to fight.
Yeah, it's all Dip. It is all Dip all the time, and finally, Ali and Ferbza going to get their piece of the pie, but a flawless to get us started.
Yeah, what a dominant way to get that one going. It's really pretty simple stuff out of Northwood University. Paranoia on forward, KO flash to follow that on up. The utility to zone was really good. It's clear that they've ran some scrims, you know, they're ready. They know that execute, they know it well, and unfortunately for TAMU, they just kind of lost out on the opportunity. That round was make or break for Sam in his position. He got nothing done, so unfortunately that retake feeling nigh on impossible, especially with what I'm loving from Northwood is that they're willing to continue to fight even after they're at that man advantage. They'll keep dueling, they'll keep kind of fighting for that space. Their composition really allows it, but that double initiator and also just with the raw confidence we're seeing out of Dip.
Yeah, 100%. It never let the opposition get their footing if you can. Force them to play your game, and that's exactly the way they're playing the attacking style. And look at this from Tyler, all the way deep up mid. This is how far you have to go to actually get value out of that drone. Nothing spotted, but you have to put yourself in such a rough spot to get there.
And that's because of the most recent patch, right?
Yep.
He just got that nerf, range decreased, that speed a little bit, kind of changed on up, and I believe that health as well, getting dipped on down. A lot tougher to get value, making life difficult for those
I see what you did there, getting dipped on down. I see what you did there.
You got to start with the low-hanging fruit so you can get higher on
Right. Then you have to work your way up. Yeah, absolutely. Now, this might also be the round. I'm going to hold this thought real quick. So we have the Headhunter. Unfortunately, doesn't find a whole lot. Dark cover. Make sure nothing really happens to the fragment to keep him at bay.
Yeah, but a really good execute, right? Even though they're in the anti-eco here, they're being incredibly thorough. It's stacking utility. This is something we talk about a lot at the pro level. It's popping down that Omen dark cover, but not trusting it. When you're playing against a KO, when you're playing against an Omen, you know those flashes can come. You know that aggro play can come, so add that fragment on in. Zone utility. They did that, but now they have to deal with the retake. KO flash already out.
Yeah, tough. A little bit of friendly fire, so aggro has to bide his time for just a second. But damn, gonna push his way on through the shorties. They're doing damage, but it's not quite enough. And the anti-eco goes near flawlessly, just as you would expect. And in this time, I think we didn't really hit this in the agent select, but our Sentinel difference, right? We've got Benji on the Killjoy. We've got SamWow on the Chamber.
Yeah.
And the Killjoy's working on the attacking side. It only gets scarier. So picking up these attacking rounds, I mean, this is wonders for Northwood.
Yeah, it really is. That Killjoy on the attacking side, I think, can be tougher to bring the value on out of. But for a lot of players, it's still about that comfort choice, right? You've been playing Killjoy for so long. You're used to it. Your setups are built around it. At this level, I don't think it matters quite as much if you are pulling the most meta 100% best win rate comp down to the little percentage. Comfort is a big factor. And they're seeing it here again. Another 5-player hit over towards the safe side.
Yeah, but this is the full buy. Finally, from TAMU, and it starts off Dip, the first one taken down, just a little step out of range, unfortunately, will fall. Drone gonna give away aggro here.
Yeah, and that's what's tough about these new jet changes. You pop that dash, you expect a hit to come on through, now it's gone, and no value is gained.
Yep, no value gained at all there, and with that, Northwood to back away for just a second.
Yeah, that they are. They want to just try and re-clear space. This is one of those issues with the Killjoy. You don't have quite as much global map control as you do with that Chamber, but this gets interesting. They re-clear in through mid, and they commit to an Omen ult in towards spawn. Lots of resources are going to have to try and clear this out, and the distraction might work for the A-hit.
You see it on the minimap. Unfortunately, Ollie going to be taken down. Tayo headed that way. They knew that was going out towards the spawn. Now 2 players here on the catwalk. Noble queues up the flash. Will send that one in full. He flashes Benji. He's taken down, and Noble's got himself 3 on the round. Finally, TAMU looking to battle back and put their first on the board. And the only person stopping them is a 1v5. It's Ferbza.
Faith not too high in this one. HP already a little whittled on down, and they have their suspicions as to where this one lies. Will attempt to flash on through, but not even given the opportunity. Flawless round to reply there. Damn the one finding that final frag. And I was talking about it in the mid-round, but that's kind of the issue with Killjoy. You really have to be assertive in maintaining map control. If those initial 5-man hits, which we know this team in Northwood really likes to do, fails, you're going to have to put a lot of that utility recommitting in towards the clear in the mid-round. And with the Sova nerfs, that's even more difficult. You get less value out of that drone. With your KO kind of being your mainstay for those early flashes, you're going to be eating away at those flash drives really quickly. So balancing utility and being conservative in the early rounds, that's going to be a big priority for Northwood here on the attacking side.
And that was just the bonus round for Northwood. So they'll have now their full buy, 0-point suppression on Ferbza. So a bit of information garnered for the defense. And I don't know if it was just the Omen also. I'm going to be paying attention to this, but very measured on the defense, right? A lot of times you can get this Killjoy who's lurking, put that turret down and try and get something aggressive B main. TAMU's not giving it.
Yeah, and I was talking about that kind of global map control that you get out of the chamber, and notice what they're doing to get rid of it here for Northwood. They had a lineup to get rid of that trademark that is normally placed in towards mid. Double shock bolt. When you're the Sova and you have a lineup that has 2 bounces in it, Sova will give you a voice line if he destroys utility. So they know that is gone, and now they can set up towards this B split.
And they haven't fully committed though, right? They're not even necessarily buying the rotations, though. TAMU just, I mean, so stalwart.
And look, there's going to be a drone over towards A. They're doing a really good job at keeping the defenders here, making this B hold weak as the split's about to come through.
Yep, Tayo holding it down, back sight, Vandal in hand, full U-tilt, Paranoia out across the site. Recon Bolt not revealing anything, actually. Fragment backside, and Tayo, he's A-okay. No, he's going to be taken down. Both defenders cleared out.
Same situation that we've seen before. Now it's going to be a retake over towards this B site. Man, disadvantage. The Fragment not getting anything done. Still, 2 flash drives available. That's the best hope here for an attempt on this retake.
Yeah, really, really tough spot here. A couple of kills away from having that ult online, but he just gets cooked. The vulnerability, and then Animal Swarm did so much damage.
At what point do you just call for a save as well? This util's been so oppressive. I think at this point their main priority should be dealing damage. This timer already taking deep. They still want to go.
They want to go. You see the Jet pops the tail. We're going to go on in. Nice backstab onto one, but inside the Cloud Burst can't stand much longer. And, well, the dam breaks.
Yeah, damn. Again, getting rid of the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, getting rid of the low-hanging fruit.
Harvesting it on up, getting rid of that orange tree. You know, it's what you got to do. Really just part of the job. 3-1 now. That's the lead that has been garnered here for the side of Northwood. And that money's probably going to start to feel just a little bit rough for the side of Texas A&M. That B site has been noted as a bit of an issue. And in this one, the trademarks, like I was talking about, that is what they're going to have to change. Because notice, we're going back to that same trademark setup in towards mid. It's clear there's a Sova Dart for that. If that's getting broken consistently, if we're seeing round after round in this default for Texas A&M, losing out on that early information, it puts them at such a big deficit because thus far they've been playing pretty lethargic. They haven't been re-clearing space, kind of re-flashing in the mid-round. I'd love to see a little bit more of that. Use this KO Jet combo to re-clear space, to grab out this extremity control. It's how you have to counter out this kind of Killjoy play versus that chamber. It's especially easier to do so.
Right, and so now, yeah, like you're saying, let's see a little bit of that aggression. Let's see you earn some of that respect instead of them just letting run in deep on you. How about you do a little bit of that yourself? Turret gonna be taken down, the close angle held, and Sam unfortunately can't land the shots as the Odin looks for the counter spray. The recon bolt should reveal, but it's the rendezvous to safety.
Yeah, already has to get out of that one. So B main picked on up here for Northwood University, but in this default, they're chilling out, not wanting to commit in towards anything, approaching some of those ultimates, so we'll just look to rack up those orbs. Looks like intentions seem to be re-clearing mid again in towards this late round. I think the biggest kind of key to victory for them is going to be taking down this Omen who's currently holding out towards mid. That's an adaptation in the setup for the defense that is yet to be spotted. However, they might not even test it. Leave a lurk over towards B, lean heavy on this A site.
And 0 Point reveals nothing for TAMU out towards Catwalk, but now the player spotted. Aggro pushed away from the Fragment. So much damage dealt to the Jet, and he's not in a safe spot. He is going to try and take the fight. He'll eventually fall. Meanwhile, Tyler out towards mid, took down Dam. The Omen, I was looking to make sure that nobody could creep that way. Noble steals something back, though. Now a player down and an ult online.
Yeah, but that's an ult command, like you say, so something available to make this retake a little bit more viable. That Killjoy utility going to be tough to get done if that null command is popped. It looks like they still want to go for this one. Dip, holding close on the side, has a crossfire. His position could be huge.
This could be a world where Dip maybe gets spammed through. The drop down, crossfire going to be traded out through the wall. Sam eventually falls down with 5 HP. Tyler trying to trade it out, and he does so. It comes down to a momentary 1v1, and it's Allion on top. It's Northwood, 4-1.
This is the time where I'm starting to think about tactical timeouts. This is where you've lost 2 gun rounds now. That eco is starting to slip a little bit away from you, and it's clear these troubles are showing. In the mid-round, it's, again, this big lack of information. They are on an eco here, so I'd expect if that tack is cold, it would be in the next round, as that tends to be most teams' preferences. Couple big ultimates, though, just around the corner. They should have that Sova Hunter's Fury in towards their next buy. They have the null command online as well. However, that is true of the other side. Ferbza, with his null command to work with, completely get rid of any of that utility available, shut down Tayo's big ult, and, well, again, this kind of early aggression towards the extremities is being very well denied. The opening gambits here from the attacking side have been excellent to hold on over towards A and B main. They haven't really been heavily tested in any of these rounds just yet.
And, I mean, with all this aggression, TAMU's starting to get conditioned. Look at that. They showed a little bit of presence, and immediately the fragment comes out. That's a piece of utility that, sure, maybe in this round doesn't matter, but coming up, if you use it at the beginning of a round in your rifle, that's a huge piece to slow them down elsewhere.
And I like that they're being more proactive. Flash drive off the rip there, but that gets tough because it's already proven that they're not the best in some of these retake situations, and having that KO utility available would be a big thing to move that back on in. It does look like another one of these retakes will be the case, though, as B-site has been lost. A nice take out of Northwood with that null command.
Oh no, Aggro is out towards mid, but he never spotted Ali. Hanging out with Noble, also gonna fall. Ali picks up 3 up through mid and market. And just like that, any hope now gone. And I love the respect given on over. Another flawless for Northwood University. But again, the respect, they understand that, hey, maybe it just pisses on the other side, but the jet knives are online. They've got some other ults available to them. Let's just no command. Let's not risk it.
Any tactical timeouters? That's what I'm looking for.
Usually you're pretty spot on calling those too. Usually we casted the other day and you were, I think, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm a big timeout person.
Yep.
I'm a big timeout person. I love them. It's such a good tool to be able to use. You have 2 of them, 2 whole minutes that you can pause, plus 1 for OT if we get there. I digress, though. Aggro Operator, we talked about this as being one of their big ticket items, and well, look at that denial. He's paranoia, and he's also suppressed, so he can't even dash away. That is so incredibly unfortunate. 47 credit hole already burned in towards that bank account, and again, this B-side has been lost.
B-side, I want to say giving up, but it really is just Northwood running over the defense there. But fortunately, Sam's able to steal one back. Now, damn, he might have something here.
Null command for the retake, paranoia as well.
Oh, here comes from the shadows, looking to get onto the boathouse. The defense working against the clock now, and he's actually just going to stick a nice flash from the outside. Sam picks up 2, and it's Benji, the last one standing. But for how much longer? He's full health. No, Sam pushes through and clutches it out.
That's excellent out of Sam. A 4K to be picked on up. And the second round for Texas A&M. Yeah, what a great way to get it started. How else could you like it there for Texas A&M? That's lovely to see out of Samwell. And let me just say, the goal of Dam to commit to that, he just TPs in towards the back line. He doesn't really get much value out of it, dies for it, but it's about that distraction. It's about kind of pulling that crosshair placement away, and that works. That sets Sam up for the clutch, wins it out in the 1 versus 2, and it's a big round to be able to pivot. Looks like a couple of our players might have tipped on away, so it's not tactical, but a pause will come through regardless.
Yeah, I thought for a second Sam was really just drinking in the moment there at the end. Hey guys, just got my first 4 kills. I'm now online as we take a look back at the LLS replay of how that round played out. And this is, mind you, Benji's full health here.
Yeah.
Benji's full health still, even taking down Noble, but Sam going huge to re-equip just in time, a headshot just to make sure. And then he pauses. And I thought he was just relishing the moment, but I think it's because of the disconnects.
He might be relishing.
Maybe he's relishing a little bit. He's feeling pretty good. First 4 kills in that fashion. And that right there, when it's slow, when you're tired, it's been a long day, you're having a slow start to the game, boom, you're right back in it.
Nothing
now,
feels better.
The technical timeout here, we'll see how much that really does get things affected for these squads.
Yeah, but here's the thing. We need consistency out of Texas A&M. Thus far, this Ascent defensive side has been really rough, and then their B-side hold especially has been troublesome. And it's been the same hit that we've seen repeatedly out of the side of Northwood. It's paranoia off the rip. We follow that up with a KO knife on in. Flash drive goes through the window. It's been really effective, and you see that they've tried to counter it out. They pull out that operator, try and put that in position over towards B, because they have identified that as their weakness as well. I think the solution lies in pumping up the mid-control. Re-pushing in that area, just conceding the B site. They've proven just in that round previous that they can be competent in towards some of these retakes. They have the utility to do so. It's about giving maybe a little bit more respect towards those openers that we have seen, or repositioning your KO and making sure that knife can hit. However, I think with the knife's timing, that paranoia will come off regardless. So conceding, backing from the angle is really the only option.
Really the only option, which is tough because on a map like Ascent, we usually do see those Jets go so aggressive, take that space, and the round is sometimes a coin flip. It's either that paranoia quick hit or it's the Killjoy walking up. And obviously if you coin flip the wrong way, you can actually see what happens. It takes a 4K for you to bail yourself out of that round. But like you said, that mid control, that's exactly what Sam did. And now they kind of have that general idea of what that setup looks like, that if they're going fast towards B, they're giving a lot of resources to that. It was only one player in that Sova with the turret set up there, and you can just look to exploit that time and time again.
Yeah, I think that is exactly the answer out of them. My biggest question as well is going to be, once we're looking towards that attacker side, I think that will be a turnaround for Texas A&M. That's generally the side where they look stronger. I think that's where aggro can be his absolute best. Combining with that KO utility is all the easier when you're on that attacking side. You get to control that pace. You get to play your own game. And when you play with the chamber as well, it's literally free real estate. Pop down your trademarks, so much space.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything for it. It's super nice, especially on a map like this that is default heavy, that is mid control heavy, that tends to play a little bit slower. It lets you be a little faster if you want to. It lets you punish on towards flanks or on towards extremity control of your opponents because you just have it for free.
You have it for free. And we're seeing, I think, like you said, kind of back to that comfortability of the Sentinel choice. Somebody that's playing the chamber is probably somebody that likes to play a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
So although you would expect a Sentinel to be strong on the defensive side and you're not too sure how that is at going over to the attacking side, obviously the chamber can just toss down that rendezvous, still peek that angle aggressively like you would normally, and then just teleport away like the Jet would dash, which is, I think, also why we're seeing some of these teams go duelist lists. I guess that always feels weird to say.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw, I think, who was it in VC? It was Luminosity who changed things on up and was trying that, I believe. I don't know. My memory is really bad. But more and more teams, including up at that pro level, have started to do it. The chamber allows it. I think Omen being basically just like a duelist. Omen is ridiculous in towards his meta. The value that the Paranoia gets, even when he was quote-unquote bad and people were against playing him, it was only because Aster was busted, never because he was bad. Like, this guy, the value you get from that Paranoia, combining it with that Jet is just so lovely. And even combining it with the chamber, you can just get pretty much the same value, plus have all that chamber utility as well.
And although I agree with everything you just said, we got to fix Omen's pistol round. That pistol round bind feels so bad. It's like Paranoia, one smoke, light shields, classic, rough. Outside of that, you're classic, no shields, Paranoia goes. It does feel a little awkward compared to the other controllers who, I mean, Astra, inherently, you usually get your stars. Brimstone can get something.
If you're a support player and you're buying anything but full utility, you're wrong.
Yeah,
true. You're done. You're not right.
Unless you're playing solo queue.
No.
And sometimes you got to do it yourself.
No, you got to fall on your sword,
You
man.
said Omen was a duelist. Right here on the broadcast, you said if
say
somebody
both.
clip that, put it on Twitter, Omen is a duelist in your solo queue games, just go hard. Shrouded step into the dark cover into the site, shrouded step, you're the new Jet.
I've got two faces, man. I'm going to lie to your face. I'm going to do it. I'm going to gaslight you right here, right now. Because Omen, sure, you can be a duelist, but you can also buy all your utility because then you can do the funny Paranoia, teleport behind them with the shrouded step. You can get that value out of it. Omen can have the best of both worlds.
Yeah, can have the best of both worlds, although we do love to see the Brimstones. We absolutely love seeing Brimstone make his way on through the... I think the kind of the battle back and forth, if we see Haven, that might be where we see a little bit of the teams differentiate between the controllers, whereas Brimstone, Orbital Strike, Incendiary, the Sky Smoke's lasting for so long, and fortunately that break didn't last for so long.
No, Hunter's Free is available. Is Tile going to try and do something with it? I wouldn't hate to see some kind of early aggression. There it is. He's going to pop it straight off the rip. There's nothing to really follow this up, though. No dart was deployed. He was just hoping it would be a rush over towards B. Gamble taken. He bet on the wrong horse. And, well, that's one ult you're not getting back. And, I really don't like that decision in this round, because look what we have on the other side. KJ ult is here. That would have been the direct counter. Sure, you do have that null command, and you do have those lineups for your KO, possibly, but you're taking a risk here. We'll see how it pays off.
It really, really taking a risk, and Dip also getting a little risky. Nice shock darts out and over the top. Eventually, Dip will find his frag, but a 1 for 2 overall, eventually going to be equalized, and Benji slowly but surely rotating his way back over, which means a 2v2 directly on the site, but that lockdown, it's still kind of far away.
I think a footstep was made in mid. This lurk might be noted. So yeah, I think he realizes that the game could be up. Will rotate back on over, plays towards Tree, but now here's the punishment. Killjoy lockdown is deployed, and there is nothing to counter it on out. They're going to have to wait this time. This retake will come down to the wire.
Slowly, they wait just outside the lockdown. Finally will come through, and it's Sam. First up here, Paranoia just on the outside. Tyler just around the corner, and Dam's gonna clear that one. The Sova falls. Now the Killjoy still offside. Inside the smoke, though, Ollie holds it down for one, survives for maybe just enough, and the classic won't be that, as the Nano Swarms by the time. The lockdown did it too. Benji, the cherry on top. The spike doesn't even need to blow. They do it through frags.
Yeah, that they do. And you can see the order of operations there. Hunter's Fury is used. TAMU was alive at that point. It could have been a possibility to counter that out. That's an extra 10 seconds you could have had, but that luxury will not be afforded in this round. You're always taking a gamble no matter how you utilize that ult, and unfortunately in this one, it does not work out. As we take a look back at that LLS replay, you got to give some credit towards utility usage. It was clear they had an idea, they had an attempt. Damn, even winning out on the pivotal fight there, but Fally, his micro's just nuts. Plays it out in towards the Omen Smoke, winning this duel practically ensures the round.
Yeah, Ali has been a problem here. You see him obviously top fragging, which is what you can expect the Omen to do. Like you said, Duelist-esque, typically can just toss out that util and look to play frags, but just surviving, just buying the time. Benji, I thought Benji was so late, but that lockdown ended up working perfectly. Now aggro up on the close angle. Ali's got the distance, though. This is going to take both shots to land for that Omen to fall, and it doesn't seem, oh, maybe it will. He's gonna swing, but Ali's just too good. He's just dancing around the Ali shuffle to survive. And well, an anti-eco going the way you would expect.
Yeah, the late mid control has been really good as well out of this attacking side. They tend to leave someone here towards pretty late in the round, and you see it's a setup for Lurk in this one. If that tree room player is spotted on out, well, Sova's going to be in your back lines, and that flank could be massive. Tyler, however, doesn't look like he will commit to it. Instead, he's using this utility to sustain. You see the KO knife, you see the mollies come on out. This round is all but over. Damage, really the only hope for Texas A&M.
Yeah, knifing down the door, but just gonna get run down. They want to try and play containment if they can, but it's the third on the game, a flawless round for Northwood University. They're making the best out of those situations where they're resetting this economy, and when it is an eco buy, they give up nothing. So there's never really a chance to, although TAMU's behind, to start to chip away at the all Gucci everything that NU has.
All right, here we go. Pause comes through. So we're taking this moment, and I imagine the reason that it's coming on out is because of the ults I see on the other side. This is looking like a preset execute of some kind. We have that KO ult available. I believe we have the Jet ult up too, and I think the Omen ult was available too. Pop that null command, teleporting towards the backlines. This team has already showed that they love their preset executes in towards the attack, and well, we'll see what they have planned. Is of course both teams getting the opportunity to talk, getting their coach into the conversation during this time.
Yeah, and this is a nice timeout too for TAMU. They're going to be buying into this round.
For sure.
So I think you heavily invest a lot into this one for the most part. Coming out of this timeout, you lose that round. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah, well, quick commercial to take a look at as we finish up this tactical timeout. And quick as that, we're back in towards the action. We'll see what the players plotted on out in that short little tactical pause. I'd imagine it's going to be a continuation over towards this B side. You're really well set up towards it, especially since I believe that has been generally where this defensive-sided Sentinel has been playing. Pop that up. Hey, utility's gone. Omen teleports in towards the backlines. That does seem to be the decision. However, it's been read into. There's a heavy force here from the defense, but Sam already down.
Yeah, Sam already down, and aggro playing this way. It doesn't seem to find a whole lot, but look at this, a different look. You find that first frag, you back away, and you just reset a player ahead.
Yeah, Noble's in a big position here. If he could win out on this duel, pop up that null command, he could delay. He could change the tide of this round. However, already smoked on off. However, an angle above, shot gets one. Can he get anything more out of this angle? No. Tyler on the shutdown, so Dan is now alone.
Yep, Dam alone on the site. No time to wait for his teammates, but he doesn't need to. He cuts down two. Now, Resurrection available, and they are going to be looking to stick it here. It's Ali to get his teammate back up. Verbza back in the fight. The spike goes down, and Tyler, 3 kills on it. Make it 4. It just doesn't stop. And I mean, just giving TAMU no breathing room.
I mean, TAMU wanted that fight. They wanted to commit into it. They were trying to buy time to set up for that play. However, Northwood University, man, they are just ever so willing to take those brawls and win them on out. One little piece of micro. Tyler throws out the dart, breaks the crosshair placement of one of those players, gives a bit of an added advantage towards his teammate in the rest of that fight. As we take a look back at the LLS replays, even earlier in that round, it was a good start. Dip opening things up over towards B. That ensured those rotations stayed on that site. And then, well, the rotation just paid off as only those 2 defenders were left to hold.
Yeah, that's tough for Noble to not get more than just the one there, but what can you expect? We have seen some lucky action in the group stages. Unfortunately, it's cut a little short. Dam finds one. Will eventually get traded out, but this is already kind of a better start in one of these eco rounds for TAMU. They're starting to do some damage.
Yeah, that they are. Noble still has a bit of utility to work with here. Could pop that null command to try and facilitate this retake. Dash available. Aggro wants to take that fight. Will get away with one. So man advantage now. Garner, Bladestorm pop. They're going.
That they are. The health, it's low, but they're still finding the kills. Finally, now Ollie has to do it once more. Too many targets to worry about. He dances around for a second, but Noble will finally close us out. And it was a hero rifle from TAMU that got it done.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting so much done, especially considering the investment they put in towards that round. The opportune moment to pop up that null command too is excellent. You didn't see any smokes up towards heaven. That's because, well, there was none available. The utility was completely shut offline. Same too, normally you'd see Ferpster with a flash heading on in towards that hit. That was not available. This is the turn they needed, but the question is it too late? Because we've seen the previous 3 rounds were all completely isolated incidents. If anything, Northwood has been very fast to realize their mistakes, to adapt around it, and to come back with something new. And the new idea in this one is to put the operator up for dip. We've only seen 1 round with the op for aggro previous. Now Dip will make an attempt of things. Looks like a duel towards mid is queued on up, and it's being given here. Aggro is being set up for a play forward, but he walks straight into the operator. That's well done by Dip.
And Dip got revealed too. They knew that was happening, but he still managed to hit that shot. Now the blades finally come out. We get the jet knives from Dip. Tyler, shock dart just to clear things out. Noble able to back away right onto the ankle. The knives, they all go wide. Noble still gets one, and this time he backs away.
That is absurd. He still manages to get value out of that position. Heroic efforts, but still, it's a 4 versus 4. Noble's position is known. It is known that he is wounded as well. However, that's not even the destination. They've assumed that rotations have been pulled over towards this A site. They'll continue to pressure, and Ali's just taking a fight. The timing on this one is perfect. He wanted a second off the trigger discipline, but it doesn't work on out. Now B site should be vacated, and the fake, it has been played oh so well. Only a single player to defend, and the hit looking to forthcome over towards that B site. Everyone has bitten on in. The final defender is down. They still don't know.
Yeah, they still have absolutely no idea. The only player out towards the A site was the Omen. Use that from the shadows back in the boathouse, and now it's a very healthy Tayo who has a recon bolt available, but a 12 HP Noble. This is a very, very tall ask here in the 2v4. Recon bolt will be queued up. This one tossed out. Should reveal Benji. Nobody really in a position to try and spray him down. Ali also getting tagged up by that. So noted 2 players put the spray through. It's all you need inside the dark cover. Tayo, no, they come out with the knives, but it's the Vandals to eventually do it. 9-3 at the half for Northwood University. And what I'm afraid about, now that they're on the defensive side, how aggro do they get, right? Do they just run it down and try and force TAMU to earn the respect? I don't see why not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would imagine that is exactly what is going to happen. In Valorant, tactical FPS at large, once you lose your opponent's respect, it is very, very hard to earn it back. Once your opponent realizes that they are the better team, there is a tendency to just press the W key a little bit and just send it. Their comp befits it, their play style is good at it, and it is really tough to recover from it. It's really tough to force your opponent to respect you unless you start pulling off some really big rounds. At least I think that for the side of Texas A&M, maybe they can rally something in the half. They can be solid in towards that pistol round, hope to get something a little bit more. But if they're not winning out on that pistol, things are looking grim.
Yeah, that is the big test right here, this pistol round. Dip already posted up. A little aggressive to use that turret for information. And with that garnered, maybe gonna look to back away. 1 flash drive available here for Noble, so we'll see how he can set his team up. 30 seconds still on the knife, though.
Yeah, but look over towards A main. Space has already been taken. A player's been positioned in towards one. They can concede space, hold towards main, since this is just a hit from the catwalk side. Retake is going to be really easy with that pinch. Holding onto main or clearing it out, that's the goal for both these teams. But I'm not even sure if TAMU have realized yet. They spotted 1 player. They're sending a lone attacker to clear that space. This could get really bad really quick because the pinch is set up, but Dip is down.
Yeah, Dip not really ready for it. Ali, though, Ali's already ready for it. Always ready for it. He dances on into the smoke. He'll eventually fall, but just like that, we find ourselves a 2v2 Sam. Just underneath Heaven, trying to hold it down with the Headhunter. Lives up to his name, decapitates Tyler. Now 1 more to worry about. And the crossfire might be good, maybe not. Benji takes down Sam. No redemption arc there just yet. Now gonna hop onto the spike. It's not planted here for the Sova. Yes, it is. Just barely the backpack showing. And TAMU get it done.
that round is just wild that it came down to the wire in such a big way. It was such a great setup early on from the side of Northwood in the way that they positioned themselves in that. They held on towards the main control, they pinched, but then, like I said, when you feel like you're the better player, a lot of teams will overheat. I think especially at this level that'll happen. Dip just absolutely sent it, and I think kind of let that round slip away. That was the pivotal switch on over, and the clutch really came down to the wire. It was a nice attempt by Benji. His backup was just sticking out a little too much, and didn't happen.
And it makes you wonder if you're on the other side of the spike, how does that round go, right? It's those small things, those hindsight things when you look back on it and you think, hey, maybe this could have won us the map or won us a series. As once more we go back to the fight inside B main, and it's not quite the same fight that we saw from Northwood. Ooh, is Noble gonna get things started, taking down Benji as a huge defender off the table, but look at the rotations, they're already here.
Yeah, that they are. This setup, I think this is like one of the highest expected value plays when you're in towards an eco round. Double shorty backside works too often.
Yes.
Works way too often because teams just kind of overcommit, especially in these anti-ecos, and there it is, Dip and Ferpsa, both with those weapons to work with. This is a pretty standard play on this map, so I imagine that this is known to be a possibility. I'm hoping that they save some Sova utility to clear, or else this could get pretty darn risky.
0 point just to make sure things are safe. We're back-to-back inside the boathouse as everybody hops onto the site. They're picking the angles. The shorties, though, they're starting well. They did rip down one. Fortunately, Tayo there to cut down the short-range weapons. Now it's all up to the Classics against the Spectres, and it's all up to Ali, who he's been good on the day. He's been good on the map.
I don't know if he's been 1v4 Classic good.
With the, yeah, I don't think he's been 1v4 the Classic good.
I'm killing the dreams. No dreams allowed.
I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat.
No joy. It's not permitted quite yet. He'll try and make it down. Does have a Sheriff, a little better, but unfortunately does not quite have the HP to work with. I said maybe it was a little bit of a higher EV play to the double shorty backside. Still like a 20% play. It's not happening all that often, and it was good to shut things on down. Not too much damage taken. They can fully commit in towards the bonus round. They can, but they elect not to. Noble reinvesting in towards that Vandal. They realize that momentum is their friend here and want to try and double down. It's a pretty big risk to be taken, but still only one weapon, so everyone else would be able to buy in towards the next round, even on a loss. However, loss here could be very tough. 10-5, a hard pill to swallow. The bonus buy is impressive, but it looks like mid-aggression might be the answer. Dip trying to get a fight here in mid.
A spike down, drone out. This one not going to clear too deep, but it clears just enough. 2 pings and a dash to get away. Dip survives, but he's wounded, licking his wounds on the way out. Fragment also botted as he tries to escape from Market. It's the shots from aggro that eventually get the job done. And a round like this for Northwood University, you lose this, you get reset. We might be looking at 9-7, quite possibly, if this round goes or continues to go sideways.
I talked about the implications for A&M, but for Northwood, this one would be a very, very tough round to be losing on out on. They get that killing towards mid, but look, Silverdrone is coming for that reclear. Mid is realized to not be a threat. However, information is lacking elsewhere as well. There's still but one player here on the B site. Benji is going to have to do a lot. Does have the utility to support, though. But I believe that KO knife should be online. I imagine that'll come on in. Benji's position is so close to that wall. I would be surprised if he does not get suppressed on this execute.
Yeah, that's
there it is.
The scariest part, and I don't think he was able to answer that 0 point in time. So everything down here, the microwave won't even matter. He's forced to back away. Fortunately, Tyler catches one on the way in. Now Benji.
30 seconds left.
Gonna eat a shock dart right to the rear, but they're not looking this way. He gets his one. Now looking for some more just on the outside, but he splits the uprights. Meanwhile, Ferpsa is trying to help himself to a bit of that pie, and he's done a good job. Now leaving it up to Ali in a 1v2, but I mean, how healthy is aggro? Through the box he falls. That's the spike down with 12 seconds.
Paranoia.
Got to move. Seconds left.
Yeah, he can go for this right now. He's calling the bluff for Nimble, and now he's going to be blinded practically for the rest of this. He has to fight.
Sprays through the box, the time is out. You just gotta go fishing, and unfortunately Ferpsa can't, or Noble, excuse me. He'll eventually get that kill, but Ali's already got the round.
It's all for what? Does not pan out in the end. Risk was taken on that reinvestment, and it unfortunately does not pay off. 10th round, swinging the way of Northwood University. And I mean, Noble topping out those charts, still already with that KO ult online. Despite the early struggles that we saw there in towards that execute, losing out on the Killjoy utility for Benji, they still made a pretty valiant effort to be able to hold that one on down. Thankfully, that clutch coming on out, and they do hold on with the 1 versus 2. That buy, though, looking incredibly rough. This is a full investment. Spectres across the board for the attack.
Yeah, even in victory, that buy in a tough spot. Recon Bolt doesn't reveal anything. They know the Ares is here. It's Tyler, this time to go fishing through the walls of B main. Unfortunately, there's no catch.
Nothing doing in this one. Maybe gonna have to search for a new pond. Reclear, however, going in through mid. Sova drone on up in that space of the map. I don't believe that Killjoy utility has been contended with thus far in this match, so it has been a good bit of consistent information over for this defensive side. However, that's not the destination. A site is where they're headed, and that null command already popped.
Ooh, Dim showing just a bit too much, so they're ready on the angle. Fortunately, Ali able to take the close quarters fight and sit one down, but that's the worst player to get down because he's resurrected. He's right back on the board. The 5v3 now to commence on the site, but Bertha, he was the information guy, then he was the fragging guy on the site, and well, now he's a dead guy with the rest of his squad, and Benji, a tall task. It's a little bit better than what Ali was delivered previously with Sheriff in a 1vx situation. It's a Spectre in a 1vx. And you pick up one kill and you go out on your shield, you've got the lockdown in the next round. So no real reason for Benji not to send it.
Just generally the idea is when you win a round, you're full investing back on it, and that's like Valorant 101.
Yep.
You win, you buy. That makes sense. But if it's one of those rounds where it really is just that Pyrrhic victory, where you're winning but you're losing out on so much money, where you're cut down into a position with just these Spectres, all you're able to muster, you get that question in your head, do we want to commit to this? You've seen teams answer in different ways. I think generally the higher you play, even if you are on the side, especially if you are on that side that already has the lead, is just saving. Realizing that, hey, our money's going to be tough. We have a pretty low chance of winning this round, even though we won the previous. We're fine to concede one, buy our way back on in the next. They took the risk, however. Again, it's about the confidence we were talking about, and I'm never going to critique confidence because it can do a lot for you, especially in a game like Valorant. But there, it doesn't work out. Now with a save having to be called here for Northwood, Texas A&M should be bringing this one up to 7. This is getting dangerously close.
Yeah, and what I would like to have seen in that round, if not throughout the rest of the tournament, is if you're going to be confident with that buy, full send. Get confident on your play on the defense, right? Take some of the space just like this one. They go back to it. It's a little lesser of a buy, but it eventually gets that same job done. The spike plant will be awarded out over to TAMU, but a weapon received. Sheriff's aplenty, Marshall in the hand. I'm not saying that this is too winnable for Northwood, but damage is certainly on the table.
Yeah, it is, especially with a rifle already picked on up. Dip has that tailwind pop, trying to get something done, but the drone, good to keep them at bay for now.
Yep. Ooh, aggro, trying to take the fight with the Marshall. Instead, it's Noble, 3 kills on the round. He wants some more shots through the wall. Noble's there, Noble falls. This could be a weapon retrieve, but Burpsa wants to push forward with the Sheriff. And now, speaking of weapons retrieved, it's the Phantom. Now it's found out towards mid. Unfortunately, there's just no space, just no time. It's all about containment.
Yeah, but containment could be massive. If he deals damage and this one keeps that money accountable, he's looking to do so. Timing on this swing could matter in a big way. Only gets 1. Still pretty solid to be able to take 3 players down, considering the investment going in towards that round. But money will be ample to reinvest regardless here for Texas A&M. Northwood got to do an internal reckoning. If they're not winning out on this round, I am starting to get extremely worried about them. But they have some of their big win conditions online. Couple ults to work with, including that lockdown to work in for a bit of a retake, and the operator online too.
Yeah, this right here, I would love to see from Texas A&M. Mix it up, right? Give us something different here, because in this, they're not taking that time out in Northwood.
Yeah,
they're not resetting, slowing down. They're just committing to the buy. They're saying, hey, we understand what's going on. We had a player, glass armor, or glass cannon rather, no armor with just a Vandal. This is a very scary round for the defense.
Yeah, this one's tough. That Hunter's Fury is already popped. Tyler should have the movement to get away, but Dip not quite so lucky. That tailwind not used, so the operator down for nothing. But okay, Tyler, that's disgusting. Just a 1-tap at range, man.
Yeah, that's the glass cannon, by the way, and well, it lives up to its name. Able to 1-tap out towards mid. Armor not necessarily needed, and it equalizes across the board of 4v4 as that spike is slowly creeping up towards A main, and slowly but surely Noble looking to get himself back into the mix. Ali has one of the most important fights right here. You win this against the Jet, and you only have to worry about one more angle, and it's the 3 players out towards main. So a 0 point. And dark covers will be traded. Aggro just on the other side. Flash drive on the outside. They're expecting something inside the smoke, and as a push comes through, it's a Hunter's Fury to follow. It's Tyler trying to answer back. He did it out towards mid. Can he do it here on the site?
I'm looking to see if there's aggression, and look at that. Dam is already walking on up. They should be ready for the idea that this Killjoy lockdown is coming, and pushing will be necessary, but Dam goes a little too early. He's down. Now this lockdown can be popped, and what utility is there to deny? It's nothing. They either have to fight for it or completely concede this space, and concede. That's the answer. They're falling back towards main.
It's tough too, though. You hear that tour de force now online, can be holding the angle. It's planted right for him. Turret to come down. Recon bolt just around the corner. This here for information. They might have to deal with that. No, it's a tour de force taken down. They know where Aggro's at, and he's detained. They can just run him down instead. They look to give him the fight. Aggro finds the first, won't find the neck. That's Benji to hop off, close out the kill, and close out the round.
That's a tragedy, man. They were in the corner. He just overdoes it. Sneaks the second in too close, and that's the round. I think there's a really strong chance they win that round. If that doesn't happen, that is... Man, that's depressing to lose in that way.
In that split-second decision to not push the detained member, knowing where he's at, they almost lost the round. Benji had 5 health.
I mean, they didn't know. He could have been over towards the tree room.
Yeah.
They were probably making the safer play in that one still.
Yeah.
Whew, comes down to the wire for both these teams. However, the one that needed the pivotal swing round, it goes their direction. Still, it's practically another pure victory. Look at this money. They're reinvesting. Bladestorm is available, but 2 players down on Spectres. Money has been the devil here for this defensive side.
Yeah, and the Spectres, those are the guns that I'm looking at to say, hey, let's get aggressive with those.
Yeah,
let's put that on your
play.
KO. Let's put that on somebody else and look to push the pace here. Ali, though, from long range, able to scoop up one out towards Tiles. It's the Guardian to get that one done.
This mid play could be big. Aggro is in close, but Noble is there. Swings, takes him on down, and that's the bait. Dip fights forward off of that, dies. Now we return to a 4 versus 4, and no command. Omen TP available. This is well set up for an execute. I imagine they go towards B, and that does seem to be the answer. Doubling back in towards B main. This is likely going to be another retake, but there is going to be a null command and an Omen TP going the other direction. These ults matching.
Yeah, ults matching. Ferbsa, unfortunately, a little too far. He won't be able to join the fight right in time. But his teammate in Ali will. And Benji, able to hit that Nano Swarm. Perfect timing on that spray on through out towards main through the Cloud Burst. And it's actually Tyler to fall aggro, collecting so much here in this round. The first 2 kills on it. And one of the most important being the knives off the table. Now they have this Phantom, a Spectre, and a Guardian to worry about in the retake. Unfortunately, though, for TAMU, they're all on the site.
I mean, look at their money in reserve. I feel like there's a very big case to be made for saving in this round. If they can get something early, though, still very much a chance at this one. Null command isn't going to be popped, I imagine, but these flash drives, they're already used. You're going to have nothing. You're heading in towards that site dry.
Yeah, this is tough. You have to use it just to clear the smokes. Now, nobody giving up too much here on the site. The head will finally be spotted. The angle will finally be cleared, and now Benji has to try and clutch up again. A 1v2. One on the swing. Damn the next one up, and it's damn to sit him down. 8 rounds. Now scooped up here for TAMU.
It's a heartbreaking call, but I almost feel like the play there in the 3 versus 4 is to take that safe. Maybe I'm making a bit more conservative decision making, but their economy has just been really tough, and these decisions to constantly reinvest, to take those risks, have been working against them. So we look back in the LLS replay here, it was some big plays. Folks like Ali getting things started, that early aggression, but then it was that trap play in towards mid. Breaking that Sova drone, punishing the knives, that turns the tide completely.
Another round invested, and another round safe to follow. And okay, here we go. A page out of the NU playbook.
Wait, I didn't know that. Does the jet dash stay up? I don't think you get it if you are suppressed. That's something I'll have to look into with the change. But now the suppression gone, so a chance for a peek. No kill to follow though.
Yeah, now they understand too at this situation that the defense are sitting on a little lesser of a buy. I think it's safe to say that you could have assumed that, but the way that Northwood has kind of just been tossing out their credits, maybe a weapon coming into this, but nothing now. You hear that Sheriff, you hear the Ghosts and the Classics, but still a lot of respect given.
Yeah, and it's been earned. Texas A&M have made themselves a squad to be respected. Now, Aggro, does he just want to take this peek? They cut noise. It is just going to be the call to Riazek. It is still a stack, though.
Yeah, dash on in. A couple players just around the corner. Tyler with the Classic. Unfortunately, just not enough. Dip, however, he survived at the beginning of the round, and he's able to scoop one up for himself. The Sheriff, it does good for 1, but only 1 as the site. Well, the site can't really be retaken. Ferbsa's got a really tall ask, but now he's got shields. Now he's got a weapon. He's got a couple of players lined up. The shots don't quite land. He's got credits to buy into the next round, so you can look once more to try and play containment. You can also look to save. What you don't want to do is pop that null command. It does seem like he just wants to fight for it. A few members with low HP, he can look to fight him there as he walks on out of the bottom 2 lineup. The damage has been dealt, but the round's still secured by TAMU.
I felt the disaster happening.
Yeah.
I felt the disaster happening there. That one maybe getting a little bit closer than it should have. Tactical timeout will be called in this one, though, so they've realized their mistakes. They've realized the issues for the side of Northwood, and they want to clean that on up. However, just as it was the story in the first half, these B-site executes have been incredibly potent. I mean, it is pretty much mirror compositions, bar that Sentinel decision. So, not surprised to see that continue to be the case. Again, I feel like the solution might fall to kind of further aggression in the mid round for this defensive side.
Yeah, I would like to see also as Benji just kind of continues to develop how he's playing. I think we've seen the microwave setup out towards B, then evolve to the alarm bot out towards mid just in case. Go back to that microwave, set it up out towards B, but don't play in range of that 0 point. You got to play outside that 0 point, so you are still getting that value.
And what's interesting is it's been the same 0 point lineup every time. It's one that lands on top of the front boathouse, but I don't think it's been broken just yet. I think it is one of the ones that you can't quite break. You can be really tricky with the KO lineups, and that's showing here. It's why so many teams are running it. It's why both these teams are running it in towards this map. I think the flash drive value has also been good for both sides running on that robot.
Yeah, it is hard to see that when you're so deep in that retake, you're a little too slow on it, that you have to invest those flash drives early. I think what we're asking for mostly for both of these teams, and anybody listening going forward, right, is give us a bit more on defense. Let's get a little aggressive. Take some of this space, don't give it up for free.
Dip is buying into the operator in this one. I'm hoping that this will be a bit of an early play. I was looking more towards mid. They're committing over towards B. I think that's a risk because we saw this was a previous attempt. Both sides have fallen into this pitfall where paranoia, you get a knife coming on through, you're suppressed, you're in trouble. But Ali was supporting with a paranoia of his own. However, this has been red. Dam's just holding the angle. Dip has to fall away. This is part of the tailwind nerf. With old Jet, Dip might have just swung that because he has the automatic tailwind to get on away. New Jet, you don't have that, which is why I think Chamber's so much better on this map now because you can set yourself up a teleport. You can get away scot-free even if you are taking a bit of a crazy swing. Jet just doesn't have that anymore. Yeah,
and what's better than a Killjoy turret? Well, if you don't have a Killjoy, you just put Omen on top of the little hut out there. He's able to hold that angle, get so much information, and you have to assume, right, that Dip's peeking like that. He's trying to crab walk around the corner. Maybe he does have that operator. Let's go elsewhere. And that elsewhere is out towards the A site, but nobody's here. They concede.
I mean, this is what we were talking about. Retake, I think, will be the recipe for success. Still, proof is in the pudding for this one. They've held on to position towards stream, and what I'm looking out for is this late lurk in mid. There's an Omen just tucked in towards mid, tall box. If he can find a late flank here, this could really change the round.
Yeah, Dam really holding the round together out towards mid. The operator not quite finding anything. The foot is spotted, and aggro takes down Dip. 4,700 credits again, just tossed away as Dam out towards mid. Noble on the site holds it down.
Save. This should really be a save. You can't go for this. 2 players left alive. I think they probably grabbed that operator. And Dip, there it is. Ali picks it on up. It's really tough getting no value out that way. They're just in mid. That pathing is really dangerous, but it still works out. Question is, will they be able to keep this in the long term because they are being hunted? Texas A&M committing a lot in towards this one. And they'll have ample time to take this swing. If that off goes down, that's huge. Tyler's gone. Ali should too. No, stays alive. That's big out of him. Damage doesn't really matter. The money is great for the side of TAMU, so it's all good.
Yeah. That's exactly why we see them running for that. They spot the players out towards mid. They say, hey, guys, they're trying to save that op. We can buy next round no matter what. Let's just try and run them down and get it done as we take a peek right here at the end, the LLS replay. I mean, it's a notable one because it's Ali doing Ali things. I feel like he's done this on the day. Unfortunately, this right here, not very much impact. You need to start that at the start of the round. Let's get a couple of, maybe a multi-kill to get us started at the beginning.
Our retake power is great in this round. 2 of the biggest ults to work your way back in. That is going to be the decision. Another retake going to be played over towards there.
Yeah, a little surprising that we didn't see that null command used in the round previous, but like you pointed out, it's bolstered up behind. Do we see it, though? Because it's another really weak round.
Do they have a fragment lineup? I'm hoping they do. A lot of KOs do. No, maybe not. Noble's just swinging on that one. He's trying to delay, though. And he's done that thus far. Still even getting a kill on Dip there. This ult hasn't been popped, but we trade 4v4.
And we trade 4v4 to get the buy. Not great here for the defense as they slowly push their way out towards heaven. They're met by aggro, just cuts him down. Tyler proven to be the classic king as Benji holds on to the up. Takes a shot. It's unfortunately not enough. Now he's got a rifle in his hand zone. He's looking to do some damage. Sets down the turret. Gonna hop onto the spike once more. Sam can play the jump peek game. Benji gonna hop on for just a moment. Look to get that spike halfway. Now he hops off. Looks to take the fight, but Sam can just play this perfectly. The time, it's all down to it. But does Benji have enough? It sounds like he's done. He's bought the time. He's won the round and pushed them to map point.
That's absurd. They didn't even think they had a chance to win that one. That's why they didn't commit the ult on in. There was one weapon coming in. The operator goes in, the operator comes out, and map point is secured. That is just a wild play. You needed an individual step up, and Benji does it. But on the other side, why are we silver droning? It's a 2v1. The utility usage, a couple small mistakes being made. The pressure getting to this team, and it's being punished.
It came down to the timing in that one, and it was just on Benji's side, who has been good on the day, who has been, I mean, now hanging on to that lockdown once more again, having that ult available for the squad and the retake power and just what this Killjoy brings, it's huge in the last round of the map, or what could be the last round of the map.
Mid lurk coming on through. Aggro will destroy that Killjoy alarm bot, so I'd imagine a drone should be triggered in reply, or at least someone hold this on. They're very nervous about that space in mid, but no one's committing off of it just yet. More good information garnered here, this time over towards the catwalk, but definitely a much slower round from TAMU.
Yeah, and Aggro getting spotted out towards mid, that's a stinky agent to get spotted by the 0 point, because you kind of have a general understanding. If you see the Jet, you know that the rest of the team is probably somewhere in the area, especially if that Jet hasn't been lurking. But here we go, a little bit different on the 0 point, but the angles, they're being held a little different. Recon bolt out, not going to find Benji, but he gives too much of the barrel, and Aggro takes him down. Hunter's Fury looking to clear out the angles as well as the door will close. Dip still holding the angle with the operator.
The mid-lark, there's another player tucked in close here. The drone, though, spots him out. And now there's flashes. He's dead. There shouldn't be anything Sam can do if he gets a kill here. That's so big. And no, nothing to come. So 4 versus 3, a man advantage on this retake. And no command popped.
Yep, no command popped. And they're all on the site only. Damn spotted, though. Clearing out towards main op shot, not quite gonna land. Damn, gonna take down the robot. Ollie there to trade it back, and Dip, he's not even needed. He's just playing distraction. As Ollie closes it out, what better way? How poetic the game he had here on Ascent. And that's going to be Northwood closing it out, but it was a close one.
I mean, hell of a comeback to be able to pull it that close in this map. We start things off 9-3 half. It was looking incredibly indomitable on that attacking side. The defense clearly struggling, especially over towards B. They were rather slow to adapt, to be quite frank. But on the other side, I mean, once you're at that lead, it is tough to let that one slip you by. And Northwood eventually do find the answers. They find the adaptations, but you have to give credit to TAMU there, because they rallied on back. They're showing mental fortitude. They're showing that, hey, even in these tough situations, they can put up a fight. And that gives me good hopes into map number 2.
Yeah, and again, I think we can kind of look back at some of well, we can look back here at the LLS replay, but we can look back at maybe some of the criticisms that we had and chalk it up to the nerves that come into it, right?
Sure.
Nobody wants to step too far out of bounds. Nobody on defense wants to get a little too aggressive, get punished for it, and lose the round because of it, right? It's a tough spot to be in. It's obviously an easy criticism for us to have as a whole, but I think both of these teams, not only did they kind of have that same measured play style on defense, I think moving forward, you mix it up a little bit on defense, and you don't give up as much as Northwood did in trying to close it out, because again, that is way too scary.
But here's the thing, if Northwood started on defense in towards a future map, I think they figured out the style of TAMU in towards the latter part of that one. And it was about really committing in towards these retakes, playing the late round, fighting a lot more towards that extremity control. And once they got that down pat, it was them just kind of in charge of that adaptation game. TAMU a step behind in that regard, and they just didn't have time. They just didn't have the rounds to recover. So if we come in towards another game, we come in towards another map, will that case continue? Because really, Valorant is just a game about who adapts quicker, especially in these kind of scrappier matches. And that's what we saw there for TAMU. Well, unfortunately not enough, but still, they're showing signs.
Yep, still showing signs. And like you said, the reads towards the end, it's not just Northwood getting those reads. It is TAMU also getting that team figured out on both sides of the map. I also think that's a great point that you bring up in the way that Northwood likes to play that retake, a bit more measured, a bit more structured, work together to retake the site, because that's basically attacking. Right? And on the attacking side, they did that same thing. If it wasn't all 5, it was 4 of 5. It was a paranoia. It was beautiful setups to get onto that site.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of those kind of those 5-0 setups, those 4-1s, it was a lot of commitment in that regard, which is a risky play style to take, but still worked out for them pretty well.
Yep, 100% worked out for them, but it is just a best of 3. That could have been, again, the maps, I'm a little unsure as to where we're headed next, and I don't know whose map pick this was. If that's Northwood, obviously maybe you expect them to grab Ascent on that one. In Texas A&M, they might be moving into a bit more comfortable territory moving forward.
Yeah, but I think a little bit here while we get map number 2 ready. So let's hear some words from the folks over at the desk.
Thanks so much. Every victory takes a team, and every mission in the Air Force takes a team. Download USAF's real-world strategy game, Command the Stack, where you can team up with other gamers to achieve mission success in a mobile AR flight experience. Command the Stack is available in the App Store, and analysis is available here. Let's talk about that match. What did you see? What must we learn from it?
Well, I think the biggest thing it is that we all need to understand is that 9-3 curse is a real thing, and that's almost what we saw happening.
Almost.
Right? They're like almost what we saw happening.
Explain to people who might not know, what is the 9-3 curse?
So the 9-3 curse is a fabled tale of ye old throughout Valorant, where if the game at halftime ends with one opposing side having three wins and the other opposing side has 9, that you're more than likely going to lose the game. Like, that's just typically how that's going to happen.
When you're in the lead, you're more likely to lose.
Yes, yeah. When the sides swap, the coins are flipped, all the chips are in, right? Like, it's going to end up being a loss. And it got really close for that being the case, but it actually wasn't. I loved how they ended up adapting. I love how both teams ended up adapting. There was a lot of times where I saw a lot of fights were being taken sort of independently. There were times where they were swinging into a lot of people. I mean, me and Blue were also talking about it. There were times where they were stacked back to back, you know, like
with the double shotty.
just double shorty in boathouse. I was so expecting that to go
you're
wrong
like,
quickly.
How much utility should you use in there to flash them? Blah, blah,
Just
blah.
flash them.
Nah, and I'm like, yeah, but hindsight's 20/20. They walked in there and they won that fight. They ego chowed. They pulled the blue. I'm just walking in there, guns blazing. All right, I'm counting on you to miss because I'm not.
Well, that's the thing.
And,
that's the only reason they won that.
They got to keep all their utility for the next fight, for the rest of that round. So I think they came out on top.
Well, we're ready to get right back into the game, so let's find out who will come out on top in this next round. Casters, can you take us there?
Yeah, let's hop straight back in towards this one. We just heard some interesting news from Door that apparently some of the players in the lobby are trying to like force weird things in this composition. I mean, if it works, man. We're taking a look at Agent Select. We'll see where they do end up heading.
Okay, so the player that we were supposed to look at for this one is Tyler. Tyler is hovering the Cypher for now. Looking at this composition, though, as a whole, right, Dip hovering that Neon, that is not something that is too far out of the realm of possibilities. No. What the questions that I do have, because we already talked about the Jet and the Sova, who do eventually get locked in. So I guess we don't need to talk about the nerfs to the fast lane. None of it matters about the Neon now.
I wish, man. In my dreams.
Yeah.
In my dreams, we'd get players locking it on in, but practically a mirror mode matchup in this one, and it will, in fact, just be the same compositions coming on through. Both these teams actually sticking to the Sova. I'm a little surprised by that one. But again, it comes back to the point I was making in way of comfort. If you have a composition you've been running for a while, which I imagine they have, I mean, this is like, this comp could have worked for like the last 6 months, ever since Chamber got implemented, and even then just swapping out 1-for-1 for a Killjoy or Cypher. This composition works really well, so I'm not surprised that we are seeing teams stick with this one. Again, similarly to what I was saying in towards that first map, I'm looking for how we're setting these Jets up for success, because we kind of had some back and forth a couple moments, right? I think that round where Dip is swinging heaven and there's no flash, there's nothing to really follow him up. Now you have a Sky, you have a Sova, you have an Omen, you have 3 agents that can allow your Jet to have those big moments. Use it.
Yeah, a lot of information to be garnered here on Haven as we jump on in. It's map number 2, and as you see down in the bottom left, that scoreboard for you, Northwood University, 1 map ahead coming into this one in just a best of 3. This could be it.
It really could. It could come down to the wire. Semi-finals on the line here, so it means a ton for these teams. TAMU, maybe their confidence bolstered by the tail end of map number 1, but now they need to show us something special, as early on it's going to be a hit out towards mid. Aggro getting that spike plant on down. This is really standard play we see quite often, and now what I'm looking towards is what other space do they garner? Are they pushing for link control? Because thus far it looks like they might just get pinched early. Aggro already used his tail and he's trapped on site.
Yeah, Dip pushing on through. Oh, unfortunately, they're not ready for the Jet and Aggro. Ali gonna fall. Dan scoops it up himself, and the Jet just keeps raining. Terra Verpsa trying to battle back for something. Meanwhile, 3 players out towards mid. There's a player coming for the backstab, so Tyler will tap the spike for just a moment. Ready for the backstab, and now he's the last one standing the shrouded step. Things get awkward. Tyler hops onto the spike, but that smoke was perfect. It's a one-way to see the feet. He has no chance to defuse. And to get us started nice and early, it's TAMU in the pistol.
Yeah, that it is. Again, really standard play there, and I thought it was going to be aggro trapped on the site, but really it was them trapped on the site with aggro.
Yeah.
And it gets a whole ton done there. Double kill to be picking on up with that frenzy, even though they lack control elsewhere on the map. They found a kill on towards that Omen early on, and that's kind of the big change factor. If you can get a smoke on towards that spike, that's great, but it dissipated really early before that retake could be fully committed, so good to take a look back there with the LLS replays. We do hop into round number 2 here. Not a whole ton getting done for that defense. I don't imagine there'll be much invested here whatsoever. It is just going to be a hit over towards that.
Now, we have seen some pretty crazy things with Northwood only having the pistols. So
That's fair.
anything is possible, especially with Benji. Now, Headhunter in hand. He's no longer playing that killjoy. He's rocking the chamber, and he's doing it well, baby. Both of the chambers find their way into the kill feed. 2 for 2 is where we find ourselves, and maybe all hope is lost now.
Hey, man, already 2 kills is really good. The investment was huge into this round. 2 rifles picked on up. This one could get tough, because still, there's players ready to deal more damage.
Yeah, Dip to dash on in. Flash doesn't quite clear anything. Dip's going to eventually fall as they're just trying to clear out hell, and they do so perfectly. But now they have to continue to fight their way out. A weapon in hand for Ferbsa. But what util? The recon bolt, unfortunately, didn't land where intended, and now the 1v1s will be taken, and it's Sam to do it for 4.
But that is not a round that they are happy about. That is not a round they are feeling confident, they are feeling good, and I'm certainly not feeling super confident about that round either. Losing out on 2 players here early to Benji, and then the further force of that retake taking down a rifle. I think both of those Vandals were picked on up, so at least that massive investment will stay safe still. These are some of these rounds where you just wish you could have back, and they will actually re-elect into a further investment. So a big risk being taken. If TAMU lose out on this round, their economy will be shambolic.
Yeah, they do a good job, though. When we see this reinvestment, it's not everybody. It's 2 people. It's 1 person low credits and 1 person saving.
Oh, they're trying to do this B play again, but aggro's shut down. He's a linchpin of the play. He's already gone. Ferbsa sticks around, even reflashes on in. Spike will be recovered, so no harm, no foul in that regard. Or at least it should be recovered in just a moment. But now look at them have control. They're so lacking. There's a push up over towards long. They don't know what's up over towards C. Sure, you have those trademarks down, but they're incredibly deep. So now, anywhere you want to go for TAMU, it's going to be a full re-clear, and they're already kind of lacking in information without that jet to kind of take point.
Yeah, and this is a map in Haven that's got very long angles. You don't have to push up too aggressively to just get this information. You see the jump peaks out towards long?
They want to re-hit in towards B here, but look, there's a trademark available. Off of that, Sky Flash will come on through. This contact play could be big.
Yep, they still want to hit it here. Looks like it got the flash onto Dip. No way. Ferbsa goes down. Damn. Gonna make quick work of that one. Now inside the dark cover. He'll hang out. The dash on in, and he's not ready behind him. Sam almost fumbles the bag, but he gets it back in. He reels it back in, and now the defense is starting to piece something together. But a reminder, this is their full buy, so this is their round to win. But damn, continue to do damage. Finally, the backstab comes through, and Tayo has a very tall task ahead of him. A tap onto the spike. Ali cannot be the one on the spike. He's so low, he'll eventually fall. And Tayo's untouched. He's got a recon bolt in just a few moments. Tyler gonna hop onto the spike, still looking to stick this one. The spray is through, but it's not quite there. We'll finally hop on up just as the smoke dissipates. And it's NU on the board.
Scrappy round in that one. That play, though, was read into. You got to give a lot of credit in this round to Ferbsa. Taking that early fight, shutting down the jet that was going to dash on in, that was going to try and recreate that pistol round setup. It also was kind of on that Sky that it almost fell apart. There was another contact play that he was doing here. Trademark pops, Flash goes forward, but he misses out on the opportunity, falls, and then you're really weakened, lacking that Sky utility on the work back, and still the damage was dealt. We talked about the economic implications of that round, and now they're being felt.
It's, I mean, the same situation we saw on Ascent. Unfortunately, they don't have that same lead.
But it's all good, right? They have Tour de Force. They have Blade Storm. They have 2 extra guns for free.
It all makes sense now as it all comes to fruition. Hunter Shuri popped, but not much found. Tyler just playing the jump peaks here on B, understanding, I mean, TAMU really showing that this is a threat. We can come this way. No real commitments just yet. It's a Trailblazer up towards B. It's a drone inside the garage, and a cloud burst down, so nobody revealed by the trademark. The dash is on, and Benji has the first angle for contact here. Ollie just around the corner, and Aggro waiting for the squad. He doesn't have much time, though. If he wants to use that dash, he's going to have to go by himself. And unfortunately, that subsided. Ali gonna find a huge kill. That's Sam in the tour de force to go. Benji looking to answer back, but it's the knives instead. The resets are there. The Guardian tap in. And it's aggro to fall. A shrouded step to safety on the site. The recon bolt for the reveal. So Tyler in a tough spot. But no, it's TAMU in a tough spot. Ali with the Guardian ace.
That is absolutely absurd for Ali to pull off. He stands and he absolutely delivers. Just the Guardian to work with and 5 kills to be picked on up. The initial shots looking great out of him and everything was working against him. It was honestly a pretty well set up execute. So Vidar comes on in, it connects, it tags the Omen, Paranoia connects onto Ali, but he takes the slimmest of margins on the duel through the Paranoia and still wins it on out.
The first kill of the round was against the tour de force.
And he wins it?
And he wins it with the Guardian, just pops the grape, gets it done, and puts Northwood in a good spot here. Again, the economy not great. Oh, up close and personal Trailblazer. It does get the stun, but it's this time Tyler to collect these kills. The Headhunter will eventually land, so it's Tyler to fall.
Wait, they didn't clear the Omen. This gets really weird because that Trailblazer missed, so now a lurk could come from behind. Ferbsa is in a really tough spot now. However, all good. Dips here, holding the line. Damn, lost the opportunity, and he also only has a Bucky.
And he's got a Bucky. Yeah, that's this isn't the Bucky of old. This is the Bucky of new, which is, it doesn't even feel like it's in the buy menu. Although I have seen some pretty cool
He
plays
gets one
with
here. Dip swing short. He gets one here. Calling it now.
There is a world because there's no reason for him to be holding long.
Yeah,
Flash.
they're getting nervous. Dip's worried about short. Uh-oh. No, damn, don't do this, man. This is your opportunity. This is the Bucky's time to shine. He's getting shaky.
And he's backing off the angle.
Man.
Oh, the timing. No, damn, eventually falls. Gets nothing with the Bucky. A near flawless for Northwood University. And this is where it gets scary. This is where it would be nice to see a timeout, right? Because now it does seem, oh, maybe Northwood have us figured out.
I love timeouts.
You love timeouts.
Give me another timeout, man. Yeah, I think this would be a pretty good opportunity to take that pause. However, their money was weird throughout all of this. They had that round where it was 2 ultimates, kind of the pseudo weapons picked on up. So I don't hate that they're recommitting. They have an idea. They want to commit on in towards it. I'm wondering if they're going to use that ult at all. Do have that teleport available for Dam in towards that previous map. They actually got some pretty good value out of it, but in this one, a mid-pinch coming on through. Already a push on in. Aggro is a bit caught out in the open here, but the supportive line keeps that garage push from becoming an issue, and now with the player lost towards C, this should be forced to be conceded. However, Benji sticking around long enough to grab another kill.
Yeah, that feels so bad, right? When it's the Chamber who pushes out towards mid, gets the kill, rendezvous all the way to safety.
Yeah.
No chance for a trade at all. And meanwhile, out towards C, Ali just gave up a little too much.
But the B trademark was always still there, so even though it's a 4 versus 4, they're comfortable to concede that space and just go elsewhere. The information now is becoming an issue. For that split second where they still had both trademarks up, they were in a really good position. Now with the one lost out towards Garage, they have to be really nervous about something over towards C. And with the dog clearing in mid, I'd imagine they suspect this is coming in and out. A's being vacated. Rotate's coming on over, but I don't think they're playing retake. They're committed to fighting on this site.
Yeah, still a lot of time here for the rotations. That spike not yet committed as the ult will be canceled. The 2 defenders here, Dip and Benji. Dip still alive, but only for a moment longer. As his teammate falls, Benji falls, no, Dip follows, and Tyler, just through the smoke, gets taken down. Ferbsa has one of the tallest tasks, but it's a doable one. He only has 46 health, but it's low health for one, and just about no health for the other. If he finds the kill onto Sam, it was doable. Unfortunately, that's just not the outcome.
It's been a really good map out of Sam thus far. 10-3 to get things going on this chamber. Finding lots of value. I believe it was him actually to pick up that kill over towards Longer. Excuse me, it was Noble instead taking down Ali. But as we take a look here in the LLS replays, that was the moment where things turn around. Benji was kind of panicked. He needed to get out, needed to focus on re-clearing space over towards C because it could have just been a quick execute on that side of the map. And when it was a little later, they waited a moment. Same outcome came on through. Still, there is money. 3 rounds in a row do allow that to come on through. But this is probably going to be the breaking point on the economy. Only that chamber will have a whole lot extra in the bank.
Oof. And well, there's a couple 100 credits for Dip to get things started, and a free orb picked up. No contention out towards A long, so Tyler's gonna have that ult online.
Do they change something now that this Hunter's Fury is available? Because I wouldn't even hate to see you concede some space, maybe give up seat towards this retake. You have utility to make it work, but it's also fine to hold on towards this setup. One of the biggest factors of Chamber on this map, when you're on the attack, you need to figure out where those trademarks are, and a priority in your default, the priority in your default, needs to be extremity control, get rid of trademarks. And thus far, that hasn't really been happening because they've been switched up quite often. Normally it's over towards Garage, one over towards B. But now that we're changing one over towards the A side of things, that's where it becomes an issue. Because you know that you're at a deficit of information, but you don't know where you need to repush. Talk of info though, the drone's coming out, but that Sova nerf, it's hitting. They don't know that this is an A hit, but now should be aware. Benji spots out 2 towards short, and he takes them both down. A new off angle, a new opportunity, but this is what we're talking about. They have the utility to play the retake if they even want to do it. Benji was looking to concede, but Tyler, he's got a different idea.
Baby.
Benji, maybe he concedes the site, but it's just a new angle to be found. A 3K with the Tour de Force in a flawless round.
And the strength of the Tour de Force, right? You saw it there. I mean, here in the LLS replay, you'll see it. It's just a leg showing. And with the regular operator, that's not going to do the damage. But with the Tour de Force, it is that one shot anywhere. And then Tayo, just a little bit of miscommunication, not really moving at the same time, not waiting for that drone. And you just get punished so heavily for it, which goes to show you give Northwood an inch, they're going to take a mile.
And there's the economic implications. This was a swing round for either of these teams, and now it is working against TAMU. They are on a pretty tough one here. Interesting to see the heavy commitment towards the Bucky. We're still playing with that weapon.
Oof, this one's fast paranoia, but into the cloud burst, so safe. Recon bolt. Oh no, Ali was in a tough spot for just a second. But nothing really comes of it. Aggro to fall, flash on out. As Ferbs and Ollie looking to clean up on the side. It's actually the pistols, the hero rifle, the Bucky getting a piece of the pie. Finally, he'll be sat down, and a huge tag from Tyler finds Tayo. I mean, on the outside of this shock dart, away from dying, but he's looking to go aggressive. It's being held. Tyler, an absolute madman in this round.
The fact that that's a 2v1, though, still pretty good out of TAMU. Dealing some damage in that one. Not getting the spike down, though, so a little unfortunate to lose out on that opportunity. Ferbsa, it was really interesting smoke here that he ended up playing around. I think I was just trying to counter out if there was Sova Dart, gives you a little bit of safety to tuck on in towards, gives you options, different angles to peek around. I love when Omens get creative in that way.
I mean, it's just the right play, but Tyler understanding that that's also the right play, that maybe looking to do something a little aggressive when you're low HP, the last one standing, try and find an early kill, just not the case. Now we do get a Tour de Force online. Sam holding out towards sewers. Just nothing given up, and I mean, collecting is Northwood. That long A orb is always theirs.
Yeah, and look at the change now. They have that Tour de Force deep in towards A long, so they concede space in that area. They also have extremity control over towards C. Neither of those big boxes for these attacking sided defaults are being checked, so if they go for this B play again, which it looks like what they're lining up for, immediately they will be flanked from 2 fronts. And sure, they have the trademarks, but information only goes so far in these situations. They're doing it again?
Yep, just on the outside. Trademark will confirm this. We'll see how aggressive he looks to get. Gonna send a recon bolt of his own. Rendezvous to safety. Tyler actually gets one. Make it two. Aggro not ready for it. The Shrouded step to safety. And the Tour de Force, it's still holding angles, and it's still finding frags as the Trailblazer gets the stun. Tyler finds a third. Make it 4. He wants the ace, but it'll be denied. And in a 1v2, a player out towards mid. From Tyler to Tayo, Sova to Sova. Unfortunately, Tayo just falls short.
6-3 now picked on up, and that extremity control continuing to be an issue. That info as well continuing to be a problem in this one. I'm really hoping to see a pause here out of TAMU. They took one fairly early in towards that last one. Have a moment, try and figure out a new idea, but with this lesser buy, things are still looking pretty darn grim. This defensive side, this was the struggle for Northwood, and now on what I would consider a harder defensive-sided map.
Yep.
They're doing better, and I think it's because they've realized that retakes extremity control as their friend, and they've done a great job at that.
Yeah, I will say, moving over to the attack, I have some questions for Northwood University, and we've seen their strength in numbers. How is it going to be playing around this large map of Haven? But we don't have to worry about that just yet. What we do worry about is the duel out towards A. This time, they challenge for the orb. They don't give it up for free, and they find themselves a frag. Unfortunately, they eat one in return.
Tyler sticks around, though. If he can rewrap late in towards the sewer, that could be big. He hears the drone coming, knows he could be in a little bit of trouble, but the shock darts again to drone, and here's Dip taking space over towards the extremity. They should know now the Zane hit and reinforcements have arrived.
Dip is going deep, and there's nothing to reveal. He made it past the trademark, but they are wary of this, that there are a lot more angles that this jet could have pushed through, or anybody on the side of Northwood University could have pushed through. Dash online, Noble first up to receive, and it's a headshot from Dip, the dash to safety, and now it's paranoia. Is this jet still coming? Where is this jet going? And you see they invest one, back out towards A, now slowly but surely. Dam's gonna bring that spike on up to the site, but it's just lockdown defense. Ali and Tyler refuse to give it up. Paranoia will cut out the lights, but a 1v4, blinded up, taken down, and it's just getting hard to breathe for Texas A&M.
Just an omen to great work there out of Ali, able to get away and reaggress for more. I'm going to say something that some people probably aren't going to like, but
Go ahead.
On the defensive side, Jet's the best lurker. And I'll tell you why, because we are in a very heavy chamber meta, especially on maps like Haven. People heavily commit and people heavily trust the chamber trips.
Yep.
And hey, you have 2 cloud bursts. Literally a cheap, nice little ability. Pop it down, that trademark completely loses all value, because if you don't know, if there is a smoke covering that trademark, the flank watch no longer comes through,
Yep.
and you can just flank and no one's going to be watching.
Unfortunately, for you Jet players out there, I got to knock you down a peg, because Cypher also does that fairly well. Now, we're out of the Cypher meta a little
But
bit.
he can't dash away after taking a fight.
Can Jet, though?
Lurk on Jet.
Can
Yes.
Jet, though?
Yes.
I mean,
If you know what fight you're going to take, if you're ready on an angle, I think there's a case to be made.
I agree. I feel it is fairly coin flip. I'm just trying to give love to the Cypher mains out there. I'm just trying to, hey, Cypher's got a place.
No.
Okay, Mimi won't allow it. Fortunately, it sounds like, or seems like we do get that timeout to finally figure out what's going on. And I think maybe a few rounds too late, because it has been a string of rounds for Northwood University.
It's been quite a few. I think still, I'm happy to see them taking a pause in whatever way we can get it. Think about a few of these ideas. I think what triggered it probably was that jet flank coming in late.
Yeah.
They're realizing now that their reliance on the trademarks cannot quite be stuck to. They need to make a change, be that going in kind of a faster execute, or just kind of recommitting to the reclear in these mid rounds if they're committing to the defaults.
And shout out to our support players, though, here, and SamWow and Tyler topping the charts in way of frags, getting it done themselves, hanging on to some of these rounds, respectively, for these teams. And look at the adaptation. Look at that second trademark. It's deep into the spawn, and that's getting a whole lot. It's getting actually every single entrance that you can come from.
And the thing is, you kind of have to know preemptively where the trademarks are to be able to smoke them on off. So it's good to see that change coming on through.
Ooh, flash on in. Dip, though, here to answer from the shadows, canceled. And I mean, Dip is just having himself the time of his life. So is Tyler, the Hunter's Fury. Turned true shot barrage, just refuses to miss, and Ferbsa says, hey guys, I want a little bit too. Picks up 2 for himself, and off the back end of a timeout, it's a flawless round for Northwood.
That hurts, man. They think they have a new idea. They adapt around the flanks. They say, hey, all right, new idea. Faster hit over towards the safe site, but still, they cannot get Dip off that site. They cannot deal with Tyler. This team, no matter where you look, there is a star ready to receive all of these players. The individual level is really high for them. The team play has been great, too. I think especially, I want to give credit over towards Ferbsa and towards Ali in terms of what they're doing as anchors, their utility to just have staying power. Just keep themselves around, keep that delay going. It's been great. Now, here we go. Last round and a half. The money is pretty darn rough for TAMU.
Yeah, the money is very rough. And with that lesser buy, it's right out towards B. Sam's taken down so early, though. They try and answer back onto the rendezvous, but it's a dark cover to keep them safe. It's aggression from Tyler. It's the first time we're really sealing it. It's not just Tyler, it's Ferbsa there as well. The knives, they're good for 1. But now Noble needs to be good for 4. He gets to play the clock. The paranoia is good. Oh, he's going to fall. Now he's stuck backside. The spray comes through. The Seeker's out on top, but it's Dip on top of the box. And once more at the half, we find ourselves 9-3 in favor of Northwood.
The man's noble, but not quite nimble enough to dance his way out of trouble in that one. Really tough half. We come back to that 9-3. That's what's talking about a curse, man.
True.
Maybe we get another curse, run things back, a chance for TAMU. But again, this half, I think it paints an even grimmer picture than we saw in towards game number 1 there. In what Northwood was able to pull off on that defense, at TAMU were really struggling the defensive side of the set. I think this map is even tougher to juggle the different parts of this defensive side. I think if I'm going to give them a silver lining, it's that their aggressive style was really working on that Ascent attacking side. I think this is a map that allows you to bring that, especially with the combination of this Sky and Aggro. Well, Nimble's had a really tough game individually. If he can give Aggro more of those aggro moments, maybe we can see something turn around here.
I love that. I think you had that Noble Nimble pun and then subconsciously called him Nimble. I don't know if you're going to continue to call him Nimble.
I'm just committed now,
Okay,
man.
you're just committed now. I'm here for it. And you know, what I had said about Northwood on the attacking side, I was thinking, how are they going to use all of this map? I wasn't even thinking about how spread out the defense has to be, right? If they are just going to death ball around the map, they're going to run into 1 or 2 maybe.
I've said trademark more than any other word on this broadcast, but same holds true on this defensive side. They get a lot of value, man. You can find something with it. Dog will re-clear over towards long. I think it's spotted out 2 players, so the C hit, not to be expected per se, but at least a strong setup for it. Dan has a paranoia.
Oh, they are all set up for this one. Fortunately, a little heavier of a lean for Texas A&M, but another important round to get this comeback started. And with this, look at the rotations. They're yin and yang across the map here.
Is there even going to be a contest over towards A? If that is the final commitment, there probably will be. There's been quite a bit of delay now, and that Sova's made it back on towards that A site. Dog will clear towards long. That has been heard, or at very least spotted from aggro up towards heaven. You see the rotates coming back the other direction, and there's the chamber already TPing on over. There's players here ready for this.
Yep, they are ready for it. Flash finds nothing, so the site is clear. The recon bolt going to start to reveal, but aggro takes so much damage, forced to back away, play a bit more passive, and it's dipped to open things up through the dark cover, not Spike Planet.
Look over towards mid. There's a late lurk here available.
Ali looking to do it again. It's aggro, low HP, but he's a hero for the squad. He gets his one before going down. It's Ferbs that are traded back on the Headhunter. Maybe just needs to find a couple of body shots, and the defense slowly but surely working their way through this. Dam took care of the flank, but now he has to worry about the site, and there's just too many angles. It's the pistol, and I mean, we get to see, what does TAMU do here? Do you concede it? You're in a really rough spot.
Yeah, this is an incredibly tough spot to be in if you're TAMU. I think the only decision is to force at this point, but it's going to be meager if they do commit on into it. What, Sheriff's, 1 Spectre, full armor on the Marshals? You still have to heavily favor this round. And, I mean, if you don't win this round, it is practically game over. It is practically series over, because at that point, momentum is working against you. The money is swinging against you, and you have not shown solutions. We need a miracle here for the side of Texas A&M.
Yeah, you lose here, and the bye that they have now is basically going to be the bye for the rest of the game. As Dip wants to get aggressive early. Damn, spotted out. Won't shroud it step to safety, but okay, Sam on the cross, able to find that kill. Damn, can't quite get away, and well, now the bodies are starting to drop. The rotators are starting to come on over, but it's a player advantage over to Northwood University. And well, obviously we know the weapons are there as well. And with the Headhunter gone, it's a couple of Marshals just on the other side. Positions noted. Marshal shots taken. Flash out just to delay. So working against the clock now. Our Texas A&M, they're worried about what's lurking in the garage, but they have to worry about Tyler here on the site. The quick scope, it's just not enough. Tyler, though, has been more than enough for this Northwood squad.
I feel like a big part of this game for me, outside of the match itself, it's just proving more and more that I'm not a fan of Jet on this patch.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Jet on this patch. Neon is just in such a good position that I think the justifications to run Jet over Neon, especially on maps like Haven, maps like Fracture, it is dwindling, but it's a really tough adaptation to make, especially right before a big tournament. Since the patch just come out, they don't have the same kind of opportunity to play on previous patches. You're always playing live in collegiate, so the prep time to switch on over is really low. So I understand that they're sticking to these older comps. I just think there's more opportunities for more value switching on over to some of these new ideas, newer compositions.
And, you know, I don't know what the newer compositions are going to look like, but playing on that new patch, you're playing a lot of that Fade in your solo queues and stuff like that. So maybe teams are looking to substitute out the Sova for Fade.
But obviously not in
and you
not
can't
in
do that
competitive
here.
yet.
Yep, you just can't do that here. So you have to just default back to that Sova. And, well, Tyler's making it look good. He's making it work.
That's for sure.
He's doing it for himself. That Hunter's Fury still getting heaps of value. And, well, the value continues for Noble, at the very least. Getting a pistol kill, walks away with 1 HP. Unfortunately, this guy can't heal himself up, but here we go. Texas A&M, they're getting a little bit of breathing room.
Yeah, Ali walked really deep in towards garage, got taken down. Nice shots with these sheriffs, and now the long play's been spotted. Rotate should be already here. If these initial fights do not go the favor of Northwood, then Texas A&M in a really good position to swing this back on over, and that delay factor as well. Paranoia pushing back in towards the smoke. Everyone's practically going to be here already, and I think they're going to be forced to cancel. They're really worried about their flank at this point. You see, they've sent a player to re-clear that space.
Yeah, kill out towards mid.
Left.
Would be huge here. They are opting into that rotate, but the footsteps will be heard because we're seeing where that Sova is playing. Flash out Tayo. Now tossing all this over towards the team. The spike planted, uncontested here on the B side. I'm sure this is where it's going to go. Now they have to try and fight their way out, and that's the scariest thing. But they're off on the great start, right? They're pushing out towards A-Link nice and early. Need to find this kill, but it's aggro out on top. And the two initiators stuck here on the site, looking to push aggressive and find something. But Tyler, the last one standing. If anybody could have done it, it was Tyler. Unfortunately, just didn't have the space for it.
TAMU pulling off around there. Really, really terrible buy going on into that one, but
Yeah.
they do make it work. They do make it work. Still, long road ahead of them. 7 rounds requisite even to get us to a tie, much less to close it out, much less to even get towards a map number 3. And that money on the other side is still going to be pretty darn solid. It was a bonus round still at the end of the day for Northwood. So they're feeling comfortable in this one. In the reinvestment they've brought on through, they've earned themselves that Silva Hunter's Fury. It looks like with this heavy lean towards A, I wouldn't hate to see just a hard execute in that direction. Tyler pops up a dart, supports with the Hunter's Fury. We've seen a few rounds like that on the defense on these retakes.
Right here.
And it looks like that's exactly what they're shooting for. Sam and Tayo, though, wanting to get that orb out towards long. No, they just don't even push aggressively. They just toss out the dart. They get the information. Hunter's Fury, they'll come from the opposite side, trying to assist in the site hit. Rendezvous not quite taken down, and it's Sam to eventually fall. Tyler just doesn't miss with that ult. If he's Hunter's Fury, he's going to get his. But Tayo and aggro now fighting back into it. Tyler's still alive. Tyler's still a problem. 3 kills on the round. He's got 46 health remaining, and he wants to keep fighting. It's Benji instead to steal away that kill. And the last one standing as the smoke will dissipate. It's Noble, and he's good for 2, but he needed 3. And it's Tyler to do it again.
Dude, this man, 26 and 7 on the Sova. Tyler is taking a stand in this match. He wants that opportunity in the semifinals. He wants to keep fighting in this tournament. And he is making a darn good argument for it.
There's just something about players, gamers, ladies and gentlemen, that just use their first name as their tag. I don't know if you know anybody specifically, but
dude,
Tyler, I do know. And
this
Tyler's
is just a
making it
plug
look
for
good.
Tanner Metro.
No. Tyler, this is a plug for Tyler.
All right.
This guy's crazy.
Tanner Metro, just making it about himself. I get it. All good. Aggro, off shot, investment made on through. That is a big way to keep things going in this one, but they are already closed. That flash! Oh, it could have been massive, but aggro so much better. A collateral with the operator. He can get no more in this round. It is sure as hell not over yet. There's still 2 players alive, and they've already pinched their way over towards this A site. It's a lockout. Has to be a retake here for TAMU.
A shrouded step just across there, wary of what could be looking this way. Spike will get planted, and the paranoia will delay for just a moment, but now just under 40 seconds for the defense to work with to try and take this side. Ali gives up a shoulder, and he survives. He's going to be counting his lucky stars here in this one as Damn, the first one up. Good flash, crossfire's even better. Ali still standing. But for how much longer? He's got 3 kills on the round. It would take the ace to close out the map and the series. And Noble dies to fall damage. Oh my goodness, what? It comes down to that. It's Sam off the spike, tour de force. And TAMU hang on.
They needed a triple kill for the jet up, and they still almost lost it on out. A player dying to... Dude,
that's the nerves, though. You see how nervous the players are getting.
I'm nervous, man.
Yeah.
I'm just watching this. First of all, really impressive stuff out of aggro, but I don't even know if they recover that. They do. They pick it up in the end, so even pulling that small victory on out. Wow.
And just the re-equip from the shrouded step is not faster than the re-equip off the spike. And Sam is able to capitalize. He's been so good for the squad. I talked about the support players in both Sam and Tyler and what they've done, and they get to hang on a moment longer.
I'm eating the same dish every day, though. Eco round, B hit on Haven. Here we go, spike coming on down, post-plant time.
Yep, honey, wake up. Another B hit coming out from Northwood University, and they look to hang on, and they're doing it. They're doing the darn thing thus far. Noble, 2 big kills, ripping away the headhunter from Benji. But now they have to find their way on that to get that defuse, and there's still some util to play with on the opposite end. Meanwhile, the players, they're starting to dwindle. Ali, he's got himself a frag. The shock dart's queued up, but through the wall, Sam takes down Tyler. And what can Ali get done? The shrouded step up top at aggro, just gonna hold the spike. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the angle. Sam for 3. And TAMU, they hang on once more, but we talked about it a few rounds ago. It's still a very, very tall mountain to climb.
Yeah, it feels like we had some big victories for the side of TAMU, but still 6 rounds what they need to pull this one in towards overtime. And now that money favor not towards them. Equal standing operator invested on this attacking side for Dip. What do they want to do with that? Is it slowing things down, committing in towards his default, or is he just trying to go short, punish his opposing operator? Because the op is going to be taking a peek over towards long there. This duel could be set up.
Revealing area.
And Recon Bolt finds nothing out towards A short. And the angle down towards sewers makes sure that nobody getting too aggressive from Northwood thus far.
This is really risky. They're already pulling a rotation super quick. There's been heavy conditioning that A is an issue, so that Sky already leaving. Dog to reclearing towards mid will find 1 player, so now they have to get cautious. Send the Omen back over towards C and just trust that trademark in Garage, but they realize its position. Spam it down through the box. Someone is going to have to check on that now.
And that somebody can't be Dam as he's holding that angle out towards C long on the jump peaks. Ali, though, will fall that up, finally getting some value. Meanwhile, Sam's got his position atop the boxes here towards B. So if that's the fallback here for Northwood, it will be answered by 1, and he's actually swapped that position. Meanwhile, Noble, oh no, tries to run away, but he takes the shots in the back. Now Benji trying to step up for the team, and he gets one onto Dam before he can escape. He gets 2, and he clears out the C site. And this is what it comes down to, the Seekers to reveal.
Yeah, and it even presses them farther away. No fast retake in this one. There is ample time for this attacking side to entrench. And Tyler, he has been so excellent thus far this match. The ultimate ability to work without towards long. It's just a matter of buying time to let Tyler close it on out this one. It feels almost impossible. Aggro needs to do something big here, and he starts strong.
Yep, no time for the rendezvous, so Benji falls. Tayo gets it done as well, but you talked about the Hunter Shuri, and we've seen how good it's been. No way, through the smoke, he gets another. Here comes the Hunter Shuri, the shock dart right at his feet. Does Tyler die? Yes, he does. TAMU hangs on.
That is massive out of Tayo. He knows exactly where that play is coming from. He knows the damage that has gotten done, and in the Sova v Sova, Tayo comes out on top.
Comes out on top. Holy moly. Holding my breath in plays like that. For Tyler to find that first kill through the smoke onto aggro, as we take a look at how this round really played out in the LLS replay, it was scary. Benji walked onto the C site, kicked the door open, and claimed it as his.
And they still lost the round. What a retake. The utility there in the end as well. Taking down the Sova and closing out that round. 5 left to make overtime a reality, though. And it looks like maybe another B hit on the cards. They've realized that they can get the spike down every time. It's just a matter of holding in that post. I honestly don't hate the play. Even if it is a little bit stale, you can still get value out of it.
Your tools are a bit lessened now that you don't have that Hunter Shuri. We've obviously seen how wall-bangable mid-window is as well. So not the safest place to play for the shock darts. Is Tyler aggressive? Bulldog in hand. And if it's Tyler, I think he's also got to beware of dog sign around his neck. He's got the beware of dog bling, because that dude is going to be scary, but even scarier is aggro. Just as he gets flashed, he takes down Ali. The Bulldog goes out towards C-Link, and there it is. It takes a bite out of Noble, but look at this. Look where the spike is headed, but there's a player here. He's going to try and escape. Dam has a position. No, he gets spotted. Shrouded step to sneak away, and the spike will be planted.
Sure, they could have killed him, but the spike plan is out towards Spawn. Spawn is the space they already had, so the fight there is more important, and Benji is holding this angle. Tayo, all the timing, it works favorably for him. If Tayo can take this kill, take down that chamber, that would be absolutely big to keep this round going, but he's unable to do so. Still, that trade comes on through.
Yeah, still a player advantage here. Flash on out. Ferbsa takes some damage on the way out. It's now an operator staring him down, and well, everybody gets cleaned on up. Dip just didn't have enough there. The buy just wasn't enough from Northwood University, and Another round, one at a time. That's all it's been taken this far for TAMU.
You can hear what it means to him. I mean, the energy is exuding here in the venue for TAMU. But is it enough? 4 rounds now left. This one getting damn close. And at this point, I just want to see that tactical timeout. This momentum is getting really dangerous. Look at that, just the timeline. It's been a retake every single time. They can get this spike down, sure, but in the post, they have been struggling. The retake potential with this double initiator plus the Omen has been really excellent. That needs to change. I think they had the right idea in getting more aggressive there for the side of Northwood University and towards the post plant, but will they be able to keep that going? Will they be able to change that tide?
Henry balled out, taken down early. Flashes to follow, guiding light, no way, dip on the widest swing I've ever seen and immediately gets punished. Aggro, welcome to the server, buddy. A round ago you popped off, now you're starting to do it again. The attack is cut down one, the next shot goes wide, I caster cursed him, but guess what? Tayo is there to help him out, and the close angles. Aggro, he's pushing all the way out. Unfortunately, he'll get punished for the aggression. It's Ali there to answer, but 2 players the lead.
But they have no map control as well. They conceded so much. There was already a push over towards Ceylon, and now that crunch is continuing. They are locked in towards this play. Second chance is not really an option in this round, and the dart should be well timed. No way this doesn't reveal Ali.
Spike could get picked up. Tyler gonna fall though, and I thought maybe a from the shadows play on the horizon from Ali. But just doesn't seem like the case. It's going to take a Herculean effort from the Omen of Northwood University, and if he can't find himself the 1v4...
Okay, if he wins this duel on the flank, teleports
30
away,
seconds left.
this is doable, but he can't. Best. Damn. Well done. Locks it down, flank comes through, well timed, and the round again goes the way of Texas A&M.
They do it once more. Now, the problem is, you cannot afford to make a single mistake here. You just cannot. Fortunately, they've got this economy reset. Not that this is a free round, but your back's against the wall. You have to be perfect every single time. They've done so thus far. They've been more than perfect. Fortunately, and now we get to see him try and do it again. The Guardian from Ali was good on the defense. He's now got it on the attacking side. Tyler sitting on 30 kills on the Sova. But unfortunately, this might not be the round. The orb, though, look at this for Dip. If he grabs this orb, he's got himself the blades, and he's going to go for it. Tour de force doesn't quite land, and now this is the strongest tool outside that Guardian. And another tool taken down at Sam to fall. Tour de force gone.
It's got to be the retake again, but Dam finds a big kill, and they have a Hunter's Fury as well. Spike plant denied. Time is being bought here, but Hell is still held, and Dam is still out towards long. A flank is coming, and he holds on. Dam's position is massive. He knows his survival is key, and he's committed to it.
Yeah, absolutely huge. They're taking a body shot to find a kill onto that Omen, but the Sheriff just wasn't enough from Tyler. And now Benji gonna try and push out here aggressively, completely trapped on this site. Our Northwood University, and that Spike not in a great spot, but there's a kill. Okay, Benji takes down Tayo. Here comes the blades. The right click, and it's a rifle in hand. Now a 2v2 and a winnable one. Mimi, look at the health. Damn. A scary spot to the box.
These players are isolated. Aggro up towards Heaven, the other player in short. They have a bit of a crossfire, but it's an operator. Smoke available. A bit of sanctity given, but I think the barrel was just spotted. They should know Aggro is up towards Heaven. The information is here. This round might just be on Dam.
Huge kill there from Aggro. Now Benji has to try and do it himself as he pushes through the smoke. Dam's on the inside to shut it down. It's double digits for TAMU.
Dam he is that route. He did everything. Gets the flank, initial kill, shuts down that hold. Spike comes into his control, and he just keeps it going. He just stays alive, doesn't over-aggress, doesn't get greedy, and that's the absolute best mark of a good player, especially at this level, because tons of people, I think everyone in this server is cracked mechanically.
Yeah.
But having that discipline, waiting, holding strong, not getting over-aggressive in those rounds, that's what you need to see, and he's doing that.
And on top of all that, surviving, right, but just the positioning to understand, hey, this Spike is down short, I need to get on top of that, because you saw the attacking side was not giving up anything in way of positioning. They weren't spraying through the smoke. They eventually started shooting through Heaven, but they were just trying to play the angles that they had garnered for themselves, which was deep into C-Link.
Yeah, tactical timeout will finally be called. I mean,
fortunately. Yeah.
It feels a little late, guys.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been about like 6 rounds maybe we've lost in a row, but all good. They call it eventually. They
Yeah.
take their moment. They have their time. You see the players chatting, trying to think of an idea, but you can see that stress maybe getting them in a little bit. The pressure is on in these situations. And when you know that that map is yours, you have won it, and it starts slipping away,
It's
it starts
hard.
getting out of you,
Yep.
that is really tough to reel back in. They've had their pause. They have the money. If it's not this round, it feels like overtime.
It feels like overtime here on Haven and what could quite possibly be a map 3. TAMU just need to hold on. And I misspoke. I said C-Link. I meant A-Link. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I meant. We were all watching the same thing, but look at this. They go back to it. Out towards B they go. The paranoid to buy some time. Sam goes atop the box, and Ollie's ready for it. Now Dip can just hop right back on, and there's really nothing here to delay. Cloudburst down. Dip, the bunny, will just sneak on out, and it's aggro to hop onto the spike. Noble trying to help him out, but through the smoke, Ali will find the frags. And the defenders, they've assumed this B site, but they're a player down. They need to fight forward.
There's a flank coming as well. He's going to be in the back lanes almost immediately.
Almost immediately, and Tayo was looking to be ready for it. Finds a dink. If it was a Vandal, Benji would be dead. But instead, it's the inverse, and now Noble needs to do it. Needs to be nimble, but he just cannot, and it's Northwood University to the semifinals.
A 2-0 for them, and well, it got so darn close. They still pull it off again. They prove that when the times get tough, when things get close, well, TAMU, they had the ability to come back to make things a very close affair. Let's give some respect to them for being able to pull it off, but Northwood, again, finding adaptation in the end. It's just a bridge too big to be able to come back from.
And that's the problem. When you put yourself in that deficit 9-3 at the half, you gotta shore up that first half. You go 7-5, you go 8-4, and this is a way different map as we swap sides.
But I also feel like if you're Northwood here, you're one of the teams that is probably favored to win this event. You already lost a series. You're not feeling good off of this. Sure, you take things home, and that feels nice, but that was not clean. Things need to be worked on because that is 2 maps that almost got away from them. There is a world where they let both those slip them on by. It could have been a 2-0. Respect to TAMU for making that possible, but it should have never been that close.
Should have never been that close. Now, I will say there are a couple of things coming into this one. Like you said, they already lost. They come into this with a chip on their shoulders. We can take a peek back at our LLS replays on the game here and how the series closed out. Northwood, they lose the match against what could be, I guess, considered their rivals in Hawaii. So they come into this one with a chip on their shoulder with a lot to prove. And hey, they prove it. They take a step further. They find their way in the semifinals. But also, overall, grand scheme, they've already got the main stage experience now. Those nerves come tomorrow. Should they make it deeper into the bracket semifinals, grand finals, they should be gone. And whoever they're playing, they're probably going to have that leg up. So the nerves that we saw in this one, we probably see a different Northwood University come tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it does just come down to that little bit of experience. That first time you're playing up on the stage, even if you have that experience on land, coming into a new venue, coming into a new place, it gets tough. And you can see, it almost just looks like relief at the end there. Just like, we didn't let that get away from us in that one. So, big rounds. I want to give especially credit to a player like Benji. The performance that he was having, switching on over towards his chamber, was really nice. I think the value of the chamber for both these sides was really prevalent on this map.
Yeah, and it's funny, too, the way that, because Chamber's typically playing aggressive, so to go from that Killjoy over to that Chamber, right, you just have to give so much more, I guess, round of applause. But also, we have to mention Tyler, right? Tyler was just so good. I feel like a huge tool in securing this victory.
Yeah, a really big one indeed. As the replays finish on off, it will, of course, be the side of Northwood University taking things home. But over on the stage, you got Paulie and Jackie for an interview.
Thank you so much, Mimi and Tanner. And right now I am with Tyler. Congratulations on the victory. Tell me the emotions you're feeling.
We're feeling pretty good. We're actually really excited for tomorrow. We wanna get into the finals and win it all.
Well, you definitely have that momentum going for you, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, rightfully so, Jackie. So, well, you guys, Tyler, you're cruising alongside here. You just had an amazing victory over TAMU. Tell me a little bit, just what's the energy like for Northwood now competing heavily in Valorant?
The energy's actually pretty high. We were a little down after the Hawaii game. We just barely lost in that one. But I think this one definitely put our spirits back up, and we're ready to win it all.
Absolutely. And is that your prediction? Is Northwood going for it all?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Thank you, Tyler. You played phenomenal today, for real.
Appreciate it.
Tyler, anything you want to say to your fans and supporters?
I appreciate all the support from everybody, and look out for us in the finals.
Okay, well, go join your team and celebrate. Congratulations
Get
again
outta
on the victory. Polly, oh my gosh, I've had so much fun with you today. It's been absolutely thrilling. Saw some amazing series. So I want to thank all of you at home for watching. And I can't wait to work with you tomorrow. More stage hosting to be had.
Yeah, we'll have an amazing day tomorrow. Day number 2, grand finals of all 4 games. The Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup is coming back tomorrow for some more action. Make sure you're following that Twitch channel and stay tuned in.
All right, we're going to send it back to the desks.
Thank you, Jackie and Polly. 2 deliciously tall individuals. That player is not short.
See that? I don't know where you were going.
That player is not short. Those are very tall people.
Tyler's just hanging out with his 2 parents, and it's just like, no, that's a grown adult.
Here's mom and dad.
I like the double interview. He's like,
Poor Tyler. Tyler's just like, uh-oh, like, what have I done?
Yeah. But speaking of Tyler, spirits are back up. Northwood feeling very good. How did you guys feel about watching that match? Did Northwood earn the whole thing?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the biggest thing they talk about, you heard Tanner and everybody else talking about it, you know, Benji obviously clutching up. It felt like in that first series is Benji and Aggro just going back and forth.
Yeah.
Big 3K clutch for him, and then the defuse to actually close out that series pretty much when he was standing on the turret, you know, hanging out. But then you saw the other side of it when we get into it, and you saw Ali Guardian Ace in the 2v2 to clutch that up, and then it just felt like, as much as you want to give credit, every single time it was a different person on Northwood. It's like, okay, it is Benji. Oh, just kidding. It is Tyler. Oh, it is. Oh, it's like it just kept being a team effort. I think ultimately each person had their individual moments. By primarily, shoutouts to Dip. My goodness.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Literally living up to his name. Jet. That character is. I mean, she shoots and dips. It's the reason why she's the safest character in the entire game, right? It's the reason why people give her the op. It's the reason why we saw Aggro go as crazy as he did, right? That character enables good play, good aim, and good awareness, and that's something that we saw so often, right? That like almost 9-3 cursed again, right? They only need one more point, and then it ends up going the final score being like 12-10. Like it's absolutely crazy, like to be able to see how these players have just been adapting to each other's strategies. I've been loving seeing how they've been like sort of playing a little bit more patiently. They've making it in the sight when they were actually on the attack. Where they were actually on the attack, I was actually so impressed with how they were able to just pretty much like run on site. There was a couple times where I'm like, they just planted that, and it's like, yes, the answer is yes. Like they actually just made it onto site, they planted it, and then they dipped out, and it was so much control on the on either side. Like they really were at each other's throats a lot of those games.
You guys are going to make me the villain. You're going to make me be the villain and say the bad stuff? Okay.
No,
I'm not making you.
No, I mean, to be honest, like you don't have to say what you're about to say.
I mean, the 4K, the Ace from Ali was great.
Right.
I really was impressed by Ali's ability to clutch the 4K in the first game. Stuck in a room with their back up against the wall. Everyone on the opposing team knows where they are, and they just walk in one by one into the Ali blender. Then they throw a smoke, and they're like, they won't see us in the smoke. Well, he did, and he won that round too. But that was the one thing that Northwood did tremendous, was they always figured out that no matter who was the last person standing for them, that clutch potential is still at a level 10. Right, it is still at the max. Anybody, you know, you talked about Dip, you talked about Ali, Benji, Ferbsa even had some times 100%. Where you're not really, there's no sweat on the brow if they're by themselves, you know?
Right.
But the bad thing about Northwood, which showed in this matchup in both games, and it showed in their qualifiers and all throughout the season, is the fact that they start off each game really, really hot, and then they kind of fizzle out until they're forced to change the way they're playing in that game. It's kind of like the other team is starting to pick up on what they're doing and they're adapting to it, and then Northwood's like, okay guys, it didn't work for the 12th time in a row. I guess we'll change our game plan this time. And I think if they can just adapt to that a little bit faster, maybe then they'll go up against Hawaii and not lose in overtime 15-13, and they can finally say, okay, it's not a ping issue, we're actually better than you.
Now, let's move into the post-show, sponsored by Barbasol. Thank you, Barbasol, hanging out with us all day. And I want to talk a little bit about what has happened so far today. We took all these teams, we've whittled them down little by little until we have teams that are tomorrow going to be playing mostly for championships. You didn't see any Rocket League today. You're going to see that all tomorrow. We'll go over the schedule in a moment. But just really quickly, what are your highlights from today? Let's start with Fawn. You look like you have an idea.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I'm going to be honest. I was looking around, like finding out who did have the idea. So like, so
she saw a light bulb above your head.
It's there.
So the biggest thing for me was definitely like I love watching Smash, love watching Valorant. I think those two games are super amazing. Of course, I got to give a shout out to my scat bees. Of course, I have to do that, right? I mean, for Overwatch. I mean, I'm excited to see how they place in the brackets tomorrow as well. But once again, Smash and Valorant are something it is I'm definitely going to be looking forward to tomorrow. I think the type of play it is that we've seen in both games, despite how retrospectively different they are, like you're looking at a game that like is so unbelievably fast-paced, right? Like you have a situation like this where you're looking at Joker versus Rob. You're seeing all these you're seeing Mii Fighter, you're seeing Villager, right? Like you're seeing how well a lot of these players are playing and how well they're adapting to a lot of situations. It makes it that much more frightening when you have to think about, man, like if this was something today, like what do we see tomorrow, right? Like how much more do these players have in the tank? And I think that's something that I'm excited to see. I can't believe that happened twice. I'm sorry. I had to like seeing that again. I was like, that's crazy that he actually managed to get that on twice. But still, like absolutely amazing games. One of the best sets of the entire.
Wait for it.
Okay, not yet.
So they get it. Okay, here it comes.
He's back. Fastest creature alive. He's coming back.
Oh, they're not even going to show it. I understand there's so many more games to go to with Overwatch and stuff, but like, yeah, I gotta gush about it too. Like I talked about it right at the beginning. Like, although Smash isn't a game that I commentate or cover or anything like that, it is a game that I just intrinsically love watching because of those comebacks. It's so endemic in the ability to like see the scene carry it, and then you also get the big moments. But at the same time, like I think overall, if we're going to do the wholesome approach, like it's the fact that we have so many different esports, so many different teams all coming together collectively for one purpose, which is to provide entertainment for both those at home and here in the public, which is just so good to be back. I think I can't reiterate enough. It is awesome to go and hang out with all of you guys and be here for a very long, whatever amount of 12-hour day, whatever we're at now. I don't know what it's kind of, but yeah, it's been a day, but it's been an absolute blast, and being able to spend that time with you guys, that's my highlight for the day.
So sweet of you, man. Thank you.
Blue, really quick, what was your highlight for today?
Harrisburg finally beating Northwood. They're in the grand finals. I'm glad I didn't want to get too crazy with a 3-0 prediction, but they did 3-0, so I'm glad that happened. Getting to watch some Valorant, some really close Valorant too, between two teams that have been trying to go back and forth for a couple months. But Smash, I guess Smash is like kind of like that food where like you hear it and you're like, ew, that's nasty, and then the person asks, have you ever tried it? And I'm like, no. Well, then how do you know it's bad? And I think that's how I was with fighting games. I never really watched them, but I didn't have an interest. So now I do, and I got to watch some Smash, and it was very enjoyable. It was deliciously enjoyable.
We were all on our feet. Glad you like being hyped. Yeah. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Glad you like
all right. With that said, let's move on to our schedule for tomorrow. We're going to be having all 4 games tomorrow. So we're going to be kicking off at 10:15 with the pre-show here, brought to you by Barbasol. We're going to have the Super Smash Brothers Grand Final to start out the day. Then we will have the Overwatch Grand Final. So 2 very hyped things to start the day off. Then we'll transition to Rocket League, which is hype because we haven't had any Rocket League yet. We're going to do the winner bracket finals, the loser bracket finals, or the lower bracket finals, and the grand final, all in a row. And as soon as we're done with that, we will move to the Valorant Grand Final, and that will be all for tomorrow.
I'm excited because Lawler was telling me earlier, there is some massive upsets that happened in Rocket League. Like the number 2 and number 3 seed, they're gone.
7th seed took 3rd seed with Central Florida. We've got a bunch of players that are not only playing in the most prolific league in the RLCS, the Rocket League Championship Series, but like they not only because of the way that it's played out get to come back and put like full fielded roster for Northwood. Like Northwood has a potential chance to take 3 titles out of our 4.
UCF has a chance to take 2. I mean, they have a rockin' Valorant team as well.
It is unbelievable to see how dominant some of these colleges are. It's been prolific.
Recruiting.
Do you guys have favorite teams after today if you just had to pick one?
Harrisburg, they didn't let me down.
Go ahead.
Harrisburg, they didn't let me down.
Yeah, I think you have one you really enjoy.
SCAD, right?
Yeah. They go by Savannah College of Art and Design, aka the SCAD Bees. Right, go Bees. That's pretty much how that is, right?
So cute. What about you?
No, I think I'm more of a fan of like the moments than like specifics. So keep bringing us big moments. I will say Sonics.
Okay.
Boy, oh my
God. Love seeing it. Love seeing it.
I'm gushing about that Sonic play. It was so good.
Don't forget that you can tune in live at CECC.live. We're going to kick off with that pre-show again at 10:15 a.m. That's Eastern Time. If you're in Pacific Time, get up early. It's going to be 7 a.m. We're going to have all those 6 matches happening tomorrow. You can catch the action on Twitch, ESTV, and more, so don't miss it. That's going to do it for this first day of the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup presented by Microsoft CDW. It's been a long, fun day filled with some great matches, but ultimately there can only be one winner. And we will crown those victors tomorrow for the Championship Sunday. 4 games, 4 victors, $25,000 on the line. It is all down to this. On behalf of everyone at CSMG, Skillshot Media, EsportsU, and of course, everyone involved with CECC and our partners and sponsors, thank you for tuning in and attending the CECC live from Atlanta, Georgia. We'll be back first thing tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time for Championship Sunday. For now, we leave you with the sights and sounds of the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup Day 1.